Xfinity Series race coverage of the Charlotte Motor Speedway for this weekend's running of the BetMGM 300, as we will get to see a couple of drivers who will be pulling double duty for the Xfinity and Cup Series races this weekend in the field. Cup regulars, Xfinity Series regulars doing both, some of which actually ran the Truck Series race yesterday as well. Running the Xfinity Series race today. A lot of crossover is what I'm getting at, and I think we're going to see a fun race here this afternoon. Truck Series race put on a great show last night for Charlotte Motor Speedway to kickstart their race weekend. Here for Coca-Cola 600 race weekend, and the ARCA race yesterday also went on, and pretty decent race there as well. As far as the beginning of this NASCAR Xfinity Series race, we'll quickly go through the starting lineup. They have just given the command to fire engines for this one, so we're not that far away from the drop of the green flag. Taylor Gray going to be on the pole for this one with Connor Zillett returning to the racetrack following his Talladega injury. Missed just one race with the Xfinity Series having the last 2 weeks off. In row number 2 will be Austin Hill and William Byron. Byron, the lone Cup regular in the field today. Brandon Jones and William Sawalich will line up in row number 3. And sorry about that, by the way. Byron is one of 2 Cup regulars in the field today. Brandon Jones ran the truck race last night, running the Xfinity today. Inside row 3, Sawalich was in the ARCA race yesterday, and he's also running this race here today as well. Ryan Sieg alongside Sheldon Creed making up row number 4. Chase Briscoe, Justin Allgaier in row number 5. Briscoe in the 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing. Allgaier, the most winningest Xfinity Series regular so far this season, alongside Austin Hill. Or, sorry, one win behind Austin Hill. I'll get my facts straight eventually here. Sam Mayer and Carson Quap will line up in row number 6, row 7 for Sammy Smith and Jeb Burton. Christian Eckes, Matt DiBenedetto in row number 8. Anthony Alfredo, Nick Sanchez in row 9. Row number 10 will be the RCR Chevys of Jesse Love and Austin Dillon in the field today. Blaine Perkins with Jeremy Clements in row 11. Behind them in row 12 will be Dean Thompson and Daniel Dye. Harrison Burton, who's top 10 in points inside of row 13 with Brennan Poole to his outside. Josh Williams and Kyle Sieg in row 14. Row 15 for J.J. Yaley and Ryan Ellis. Leland Honeyman, Catherine Legg in row 16. Chris Wright with Parker Retzlaff, row 17. Row 18 for Garrett Smithley and Brad Perez. And rounding out the field in row 19 will be Nick Lights and CJ McLaughlin. 38 cars making up today's entry list and today's starting order. 45 laps in stages 1 and 2. 110 laps make up stage 3. Pit road speed will be 45 miles per hour, and the fuel window will be right around 60 laps. Maybe just less than that with these Xfinity Series cars under green flag conditions. 300 miles are scheduled distance here this evening, and 24 degrees of banking for the track description here at Charlotte Motor Speedway at both ends of the raceway. Progressive banking from top to bottom. Very bumpy on the outside, very slick all the way throughout the weekend. And I'm sure we will see that here today as well. There will be a decent amount of tire fall off. I expect there to be mainly 4-tire pit stops when we do have pit stops throughout the course of the race. This is our 4th live commentary stream of the weekend. We were live for the NASCAR Cup Series practice and qualifying stream earlier on today. And we'll also be live for the, obviously, Coca-Cola 600 and Indianapolis 500 tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. We'll have race coverage for you for all 1,100 miles. Get to track the Kyle Larson double as we do the double ourselves with the commentary. Hopefully my voice holds up throughout the course of it. Definitely drinking a lot of water this weekend, trying to stay up on that. 2 streams yesterday, 2 today, 2 tomorrow. But obviously the longest 2 will be tomorrow. As for this one, though, again, Taylor Gray on the pole. Get to see what he can do. His brother Tanner Gray qualified on the front row in the truck race yesterday and fell backwards in a hurry. I don't even think he had stage points in stage 1. There's only one caution for incident in the 200-mile truck race yesterday as well. And that was early in stage 3. 58-lap green flag run to the checker at the end. Corey Hine got the win, winning both stages and the race. Can the same driver do the same thing here today? You can vote for who you think is going to win today's NASCAR Xfinity Series race, or at least most likely to win. Justin Allgaier, Austin Dillon, Austin Hill, and William Byron are the 4 vote getters. I'm going to take Chase Briscoe for the win. I know he hasn't ran an Xfinity Series car lately, but in the JGR number 19, I think he could have a pretty solid run. He's had some speed in the Cup Series side of things at Charlotte the last couple of years, and actually did have a top 5 with SHR a couple of years ago. for the Coke 600. We'll see how he can do with the Xfinity Series race. Byron's been in that 17 car a couple of times. We've also seen him in the Spire Motorsports truck in the Truck Series, and it seems like when he hops out of Cup, he runs well. He's top 3, top 5 the entire going to end up taking the other Cup regular, one of the 3 in the field today, Chase Briscoe. Austin Dillon starting mid-pack, has a good track record here at Charlotte in the Cup Series, so interested to see what he can do for RCR. Of course, he is a former Xfinity Series champion. Justin Allgaier leads in the point standings coming into the race today as well. He's got a 51-point cushion over Austin Hill. Hill second in the standings, does have the most wins this year with 3. Each Allgaier and Hill are tied for the most top 10s in the season with 8, alongside Jesse Love, who's 4th in points coming into the day. Sam Mayer is the highest in the point standings without a win. He is 3rd. He's the only driver in the top 5 without a win in the points. Way less laps led than everybody else as well. Only 1 stage win to show for, which is more than Brandon Jones, who's 5th in the standings. 6th in points is Carson Kvapil. 7th for Jeb Burton, having a great season for Jordan Anderson Racing. Ryan Segan, 8th. Sammy Smith, 9th. And Harrison Burton as well in the top 10 in points, currently in P10. Connor Zilic, after missing 1 race, fell back 6 spots in points. That 1 race he missed was at Texas. Kyle Larson got the win, the most recent Xfinity Series race, his 2nd of the season. 2nd of the 3 races that Larson has ran in Xfinity, and Larson actually took over for Connor Zilic in that race. He drove the 88 car to victory lane. So on the owner's points, the 88 team's got 2 wins, but Zilic has 1. And he is still eligible for the playoffs, and he does have a win this year already at COTA, so now he's going to try to work to get back into the top 10 in points, because playoff points are awarded to those who finish in the top 10 in the regular season standings. 1 point per position, except for the gap between 1st and 2nd, because the first place regular season champion ends up getting 15 playoff points. Right now, Justin Allgaier's got a pretty big lead. He did have a DNF at Texas, though, in the last race. He had over an 80-point cushion. Now it's down to 51. Austin Hill had a pretty good performance in the last time out. Qualifying Allgaier today. Hill starting 3rd. Justin Allgaier starting in 10th. For some late-breaking updates, I'll let you listen into the CW broadcast. On the call, Adam Alexander, who will be also on the call for the Amazon Prime races for the Cup Series the next several weeks. But Xfinity Series action here for Adam, and he will have Parker Kligerman and Jamie McMurray alongside him in the booth.
BetMGM qualifying happened earlier today.
See right here, Williams Zawalek is going to start 6th, and he needs a good run. It's been a little bit of a struggle this year. His last top 10 came at COTA in March, but this is his best career start on a 1.5-mile track.
Austin Dillon will come from row 10. Today's his first start of the year, and he swept both races back in 2015. Things have changed a little bit since then.
Yeah, you go back to the outside of row 12, number 10 of Daniel Dye. 11 straight top 20s. Instead of a fill-in crew chief this weekend, Kevin Walters suspended for 1 race for a lug nut violation in Texas. Lenny Chandler is going to be on the box for Daniel today.
Parker Retzloff, who we think is a master qualifier, didn't show that today. He actually qualified 34th, but will start from the rear for unapproved adjustments. He finished 6th at Charlotte in 2023 and never finished worse than 14th here. He's got some ground to make up today. Before we put the green flag in the air and turn him loose, let's make one more pass down the pit lane. We start with Kim Kuhn. Good afternoon, Kim.
Good afternoon, Double A. Well, despite having speed in last year's race, the 2 team of Jesse Love came with a completely different setup than they ran in 2024. And that setup, well, it did not unload where they wanted. It was back to the drawing board after practice for Jesse Love and the team. In fact, Jesse told Carla on our practice broadcast earlier that he felt like they were just out to lunch when they unloaded. He said the practice was awful. The car was way too tight. So they really threw everything but the kitchen sink at the car in terms of changes for the race. We'll see if it takes them in a better direction than they unloaded, Dylan.
And Kim, that car starting right there next to him is Austin Dillon in the 3 car. He's won a lot here at Charlotte. Won the Coca-Cola 600. He's also won twice here in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, but he's not been in one of these cars in almost 2 years. And crew chief Andy Street mentioned this morning that there was an expected adjustment period for his driver in practice, but no concerns during the race. They also had a couple car handling adjustments that they wanted to work on after practice today, but expect the car to come to them and the driver to get a little bit better understanding of how these cars race throughout the course of the day as well. So don't expect the 3 to be at the back for long.
Dillon, a series champion, back running in the Xfinity Series. The same for William Byron, starting 4th today in the 17 car for Hendrick Motorsports.
All right, you know the deal. Got a smooth day, got a fast car, great driver. All day out here. Find a good one. Get right.
Gotta love good pep talk from the green right before you're going green. They know that car is going to run well every time it's on the track. That 17's up front.
Isn't it funny how we always mention it's a beautiful day when we're inside the race car?
We try to be optimistic.
Exactly. It's almost like, hey, let's talk about how good the weather is. That's how good our day is going to be.
That's right.
A Toyota leading the field in more ways than one. Taylor Gray on our pace car today, the Toyota GR Supra. And the lights are off, which means it's just about time to go. A little 2-week vacation, spring break, if you will, in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. But roll those sleeves up because it's time to work.
It definitely is. And the bottom here, usually on the front row, is the place to be. It's just shorter distance down to turn one. But as you get back in the further rows, being on the top side can have massive momentum down the backstretch. We'll see how this plays out. But once you get down to turn 3, Jimmy, that's where the bumps start. Be on the outside can be really treacherous early on.
Yeah, and it's fun to watch the guys 3 or 4 rows back. They'll go to the very top. It's not that the track's fast up there, just to get clean air.
We got the race analysis here. Stage 1 and 2, both 45 laps. That final stage, 110 laps. Fuel.
All right, getting set to go green here for this one. Visual purposes, again, the race is on the CW. As usual for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, every race is on the CW. Bam Hall, Steve, welcome into the stream. You guys are the first in the chat down below. Thanks for tuning in again. And here we go. Taylor Gray going to lead the field to the green flag today. And he'll be lining up on the inside of row 1 as the control car, Zilich, on the outside. Green flag is in the air. We're underway. Connor Zilich spins the tires on the restart, or initial start, outside of row 1, very similar to what Cletus McFarland did in the ARCA race yesterday. 4 wide down into the first turn, stacked up on the outside, just behind. One car went way backwards after starting in the front couple of rows. Couldn't tell exactly who it was. Might have been Chase Briscoe in the 19, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I think it was Briscoe. He's no longer in the top 10. Unless I'm missing something on our leaderboard. More on that detail in a second. Opening lap going to be led by our pole sitter. Taylor Gray. Austin Hill was able to get to second with Zilich sliding his rear tires on the restart. Zilich only fell to third, losing 1 spot. Damage on the left side. It looks like there's a tire rub for Matt DiBenedetto in the 99. And Matty D's going to be headed for pit road this time by. Looks like perhaps the left rear tire rubbing against the fender. There was a stack up where there were cars running 3-4 wide into the first turn on the opening lap. And I wonder if DiBenedetto might have gotten a piece of the incident. William Sawalich in the 18 was the driver who went backwards after being 4 wide on the opening lap of the race first turn. So Sawalich's bad luck continues on the NASCAR Xfinity Series level side of things. Also had some bad luck yesterday. Got caught up in that incident where McFarland spun his tires on the restart of the outside line. Probably had the quickest car in the race. Was unable to show anything for the leaders after that damage had come upon him. Austin Dillon with a big moment off turn 4. Gets split 3 wide middle in the front stretch. He'll lose several positions at the hands of Dean Thompson and Harrison Burton. Caution free in the opening laps, but a lot going on. Graves leads 0.3 of a second over Austin Hill in P2. Connor Zilich 0.7 of a second back in third. William Byron in fourth, 1.1 seconds off the lead, and 2 seconds back is Sam Mayer in fifth. And that rounds out the top 5. Gray set the fastest lap already with a 30.792 on lap 2 as we complete lap 5. Lap number 6, few minutes into the race. Ryan Sieg up a spot on Brandon Jones, moves to 7th. Inside the top 10. Jones going to battle back with a crossover move to get back into 7th in the next corner, it looks like, on the leaderboard. Sieg trying to hold the spot. Jones and Sieg still battling. It's not on screen at the moment. But you can see the pylon on the bottom of the screen with the leaderboard graphics on the CW that they keep swapping back and forth amongst one another. Austin Dillon in 22nd after starting deep in the field. Camera on him. First Xfinity start in 2 years for Austin Dillon. DiBenedetto's crew still going to work on that 99 car for Viking Motorsports. DiBenedetto's now 3 laps down after having the left rear tire rub. Exactly sure what's taking so long with trying to make the fix. There is a crew member looking underneath the rear of the race car. Must be more than just a tire problem, I would imagine, as Benedetto is losing several laps. Couple of crew members going to work. There's only two of them over the wall right now, so it's really hard to dictate exactly what's going on. Austin Hill trying to make a run after a race leader, Taylor Gray. Taking a look at those point standings here for Taylor Gray. He definitely needs a good run. He's 14th. Only the top 12 are going to make it into the postseason. And his gap between himself and Sheldon Creed for that final playoff spot is 19 points. So qualifying on the pole can be good for Taylor if he's able to get this stage win, or even if he doesn't get the stage win, just scores a lot of stage points, finishes up in the top 5. Sheldon Creed is in the top 10, so it is a must for Taylor Gray. Creed's currently in 6th. Sam Mayer up 6 positions to 5th place. He's the biggest mover of those that are in the top 10. Eckes is also up 6 spots to 9th. Jesse Love up 7 spots to 12th after starting mid-pack. Parker Retzlaff is up 6 positions at the back of the field as well. 22 spots lost from the starting position for Matt DiBenedetto as he's still on pit road 7 laps down. Only completed 4 laps before making his way into the pits was Matt DiBenedetto. So Waltz lost 10 spots off the initial start of the race. He's 16th. And those are some of the big movers and big losers out of the very get-go of today's race. Lead still hovering around 0.4 of a second for Taylor Gray over Austin Hill. Connor Zilich in 3rd, William Byron 4th, and Sam Mayer rounds out the top 5 in 5th. Sheldon Creed in 6th, Ryan Sieg 7th, Brandon Jones 8th, Christian Eckes 9th, and Justin Allgaier rounds out the top 10. Been a little bit of movement, couple positions here and there throughout the initial start of the race. Front of the field, middle of the field, back of the field. Drivers that might have qualified middle further back trying to get their way forward, that they know they have faster cars for the race itself. Gaggle of them battling right around Austin Dillon and Harrison Burton. Austin Dillon's getting a lot of screen time in the early going of this race. Connor Zilich making a pass for 2nd place through 1 and 2 on Austin Hill. Hill might have checked up after Zilich had slid up in front of him off the exit of the corner because William Byron is very soon there to take a pass for 3rd on Hill as well. Austin trying to get his momentum going back in the right direction. Sam Mayer, who continues to pick up a bunch of spots from the start, will work the outside through 1 and 2. Austin Hill down on the bottom. Hill likes the inside of the racetrack, even on these low grip racetracks where you don't necessarily run the top. It's very good at working the bottom at a track like Homestead, so that could come in handy here today, especially if the track temps drop off a bit, which they will into the race, but not as much as we'll see tomorrow when the race starts in the day, ends in the night. This race will be done before dark. Gray's lead is now 1.2 seconds over Zilich after Zilich had battled for about a lap or so with Hill. Hill has now since been passed for 4th place as well by Sam Mayer. So Austin Hill going backwards after getting to 2nd after starting 3rd. Mayer up 7 positions now from the start of the race. 8 for Jesse Love to 11th. Love has the biggest net gain of any driver in the first 15 laps of the race. Brett Whitesides, welcome to the stream. Seen the new electric Dodge Charger in real life? No, I haven't. I'm not a big car guy. I just love racing. I like the car I drive, so that kind of counts as being a car guy. But as far as the intricacies of knowing the detail, I've always been a racer at heart. Even growing up with racing and stuff. You know, I do the little things when it came to working on the kart, washing the tires off because I'd be dirt racing, so we'd be washing the tires off in between heats and stuff and refuel it, change the oil. My grandpa was doing all the mechanics on it. I was just doing the easy stuff. Where's the 7? Justin Allgaier was in 10th. Now he's up to 8th. He's gained a couple spots during the commercial break. Side-by-side coverage, currently working on the CW. And Allgaier actually just made a pass for 7th on Brandon Jones as well, through turns 3 and 4. Zilic is all sorts of loose in that outside lane, being hounded by William Byron, who's putting pressure on him in that battle for second place. Still maintaining lap time with the race leader, who's got the clean air advantage. Gray down on the bottom of the track through 3 and 4, while the second and third place cars behind him are on the wall. Zilic and Byron. Completing lap 18 at the line. Almost halfway through stage 1, which is 45 laps. Fuel purposes, the fuel window is 62 to 65 laps, so they will be able to make it through stage 1 without having to pit unless of a caution. It looks like we are under caution right now. Trouble for the 5. It's been a tough season for Chris, right? Spin here. Looks like that's in turns 1 and 2. And that will drop right off of the lead lap. Would have been the only driver to fall off the lead lap in the early laps outside of DiBenedetto, who was on pit road and I think still is 16 laps down. Unless that 99 car has been pushed back to the garage, which could have been as well, but still off track right now for Matty D. Some sort of mechanical issue. Great crowd on hand for this NASCAR Xfinity Series race. Again, a spin for Chris Wright, bringing out her first caution of the day at lap 18. Just shy of the halfway mark of stage 1. May see pit stops for the first time today. Drivers going off strategy, maybe trying to get some stage points. Seen a bit of fall off already in 18 laps with these tires. Real racer doesn't care what it is. Put it on some bugs and I'll take one. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much me. For the most part. I mean, I do like the car I do drive, so I don't know that I would trade it, but I'm not, yeah, I just like going fast, you know? I don't do that on the roads. Not since my racing days. I got my fix for racing growing up, so I don't need to take it out on the highways. There was actually, I don't think I told this on the channel yet, but like last week, I went to McDonald's after work one day and I was in the drive-thru. And there was this, I was waiting, and I was by the first window where you pay, and this one lady was like asking me like how fast have I gone in the car? Like, oh, it must be a pretty fast car. I'm like, yeah, I mean it can be, but I don't really try to do it. She's like, well, how fast does it go? Like 180? I'm like, 180? I was like, that's a qualifying lap at Daytona. Like, what is 180? I'm like, what sort of, I'd either end up in the hospital or I'd be going to jail if I was going 180 miles an hour. There's not a lot of room for me to be able to do that around where I live. Like on the highway, there's going to be too many other vehicles to get up to that kind of speed. And then two, you know, you go off on the country road. I just don't. I don't know if I would trust the mechanical grip of a. Yeah, I don't know. There's just too many cars out there. There's not enough space to go 180 miles an hour. I don't think she has any real sense of speed. She's definitely never been to a racetrack before, I would imagine. 180 miles an hour. That was definitely the most obscure thing that I ever. Well, I wouldn't say that I've ever heard, but it was the most obscure thing I've heard in the last week or two. 180 on a regular highway. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, in what world would somebody be able to get up to 180 miles an hour on the highway? I mean, there are vehicles that can do that they sell to the general public, but there's cars everywhere. Like there's no way to get going that quickly. Like, even on like non-busy days where there's hardly any souls on the highway. When you get up to 180 and everybody else is going like 70, 75 miles per hour or slower on the highway, you're going to catch them very fast. So even if there's a car here or there, I mean, you got to think that's like caution pace versus like green flag pace. Like how much, like there, you can't do that. There's not enough road or too many people on the road, combination of both. Yeah, I don't think I stated that on the channel. That was like last week. I didn't mention it at all during the North Wilkesboro streams. It just randomly popped in my head again. I don't know how that came about. Oh yeah, because I said that I wasn't necessarily a car person. All right, so about halfway through stage one, still working our first caution. Chris Wright with a spin in turns 1 and 2, bringing out the yellow. Taylor Gray's led every lap from the pole so far. His lead was about 1.2 seconds over Connor Zilich, who started second, spun his tires on the initial beginning of this race. Outside of row 1, only lost a spot. Sawalich, who qualified in 6th, got put 4 wide going into the first turn. He fell back to 16th, and he has since lost another spot to 17th. Not really many takers, if any, onto pit road. Maybe some at the back of the pack. Might have came down at least topped off on fuel. But very limited to the amount of tires that these teams could take on the Xfinity Truck Series level, so not wanting to risk a set this early in the race. Had the caution come out closer to the end of stage 1, you might have seen drivers maybe pit, knowing we were only going to have a couple laps of a restart, but if we go green to the end of the stage, we're going to have over 20 more laps of green flag action. Take a look at our voting poll to see who is the top vote getter for who you think is going to win today's race. 24 votes in the early going of the stream. Who is most likely to win? The BetMGM 300 at Charlotte, and right now Justin Allgaier at 50% of the votes. 25% for William Byron, 17% Austin Dillon, and 8% taking Austin Hill. Marita Sarah, thanks for tuning in. 180 on a regular. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm getting at. You would literally need a racetrack to go that fast because at least that's in a confined area where you have other cars either going that fast or nobody else out there. Sheldon Creed at 188 pounds. I would have expected him to be heavier than that. I'm not calling him overweight, but he doesn't. Like, that's lighter than me. Granted, he's shorter than me, too, so that probably does it, but I wouldn't have expected 188. Maybe he's been slimming down since I've last seen him, since he has now gone to Haas, running this 00 this year. Good start to the race for him. Quiet, but up in 5th. About to be going green for the restart. Crowd to their feet. And inside row 1 is where Taylor Gray will elect for the restart again, as the green flag is back in the air. Pretty good launch. Zilich better on the outside than he was the first restart. Double car still fanning out the 3 wide on that top lane of the racetrack as they enter turn 1. Justin Allgaier being one of which, Jesse Love another. Race to get to the wall. And restart on slightly older tires. About 20 laps on them for a lot of these teams. Under green, 18 laps before that first caution. Taylor Gray about to lose the lead to William Byron. Byron off of turn number 4 to the outside of our leader. And at the start-finish line, he will lead his first lap of the race, but he is not clear. Gray with a quick side draft, tries to pull off of him. Gray on the bottom of the track, Byron still up high into turns 1 and 2. Zilich on the bottom trying to paint that white line. Gets to the inside of the 54. Might have taken some air off the rear spoiler because it looked like Gray got way loose. So Gray loses the lead, he loses second, and now he's going to be in dirty air for the first time. Gray trying to get to that left rear corner panel of Zillich, get him a little bit free, and that doesn't work. Zillich powers away from him off turn 4. So our first lead change of the day, and William Byron's out in front. Side by side further back in the top 10, Ryan Sieg underneath the 16 of Christian Eckes. And battles for 6th. Sieg down to the bottom of the track will slide clear off turn 2. Oh, up against the fence. The 16 of Eckes might have scraped the wall a bit off turn 2. Just brushed it a bit. Lost enough momentum that Justin Allgaier was able to make the pass to the bottom of the track at 3 and 4. 3 by 3. Middle of the pack, Sawalich, Dillon, part of their outside. 3 wide just behind him as well. Austin Dillon's been in a hornet's nest most of this race. Caution is out on the raceway. And the 45 is stalled. Back-to-back yellows here. Brad Perez driving the 45 car this weekend. Part-time basis that he has been at Alpha Prime Racing this year. We've seen Greg Van Olsen that car several times this year. There's some scuff marks on the right side of the car, which leads me to believe that he got up against the fence at some point in time, and I'm not sure if that's why he might have stalled out or not. Perez gets the push back to pit road. 2 yellows in our first 27 laps of action here tonight at Charlotte. Now we'll have to see if we may get somebody to come onto pit road. Closer to the end of the first stage, but I don't know if it's still close enough for a lot of the top teams to make the move. Show the replay, the scrape against the wall up turn 2 for Eckes. Got to the exit of turn 4 in the very next corner, and he was wiggling around very free with that 16 car. Car right behind him, Brandon Jones, looked like he might have scuffed the wall up turn 4. That was a product of Jones probably getting tight in the dirty air on the outside behind the 16. Yeah, he definitely brushed the wall. Remo, Wayne Martin, welcome to the stream. Wayne pulling for Austin Hill. Remo for Jed Burton. Yeah, Burton's had a great season so far. Very quiet, but a great season. Jordan Anderson racing car, 7th in points in the Xfinity Series. Just consistent. And we take a look at it once again here on our screen. 4 top 10 finishes this season, 1 top 5. Gained a couple spots in points after Texas in the last race. 12 races in. We'll be halfway through the regular season for both the Xfinity and Cup Series. This last halfway through their regular season, 11 of 18 down. Truck and Cup Series will be headed to Gateway next weekend. End of May, first weekend of June. Crossover between the two. And I believe the Xfinity Series heads to Portland again next week. So they'll be having a standalone race out on the West Coast. Just double checking on that. No, they're off, actually. Oh, Nashville. I had the wrong week. I forgot Gateway's in September. Yeah, they go to Nashville next week. Triple header. Truck, Xfinity, and Cup will be at Nashville. I completely forgot Nashville was next on the schedule. In my head, I was thinking it was Gateway like the whole weekend just because it has been after the 600 the last few years, but forgot they moved it to the playoffs. Apologies on that. Yeah, Friday through Sunday next weekend, Nashville Super Speedway for the Truck, Xfinity, and Cup Series. We'll take our first break in the stream while we're waiting for the CW to come back for commercial and get this next restart in. You're listening live on KRC to the BetMGM 300. I'm having a good day. Quiet day, but good day. Watching some racing with you guys. Practice qualifying earlier on. Hopefully you're having a pretty good day too. I didn't get a diecast showing out earlier today, so I'll save that diecast for tomorrow. It'll be more fitting, I feel like. I do have a diecast showing for the end of stage 2 for today's race. It'll be one of the Cup regulars that are in the field for this Xfinity race. Have shown it off on stream before. We'll have a little less than 15 laps to go in stage 1 on this next restart. Just tuning in, we've had 2 cautions in the first 27 laps, single car incidences. First for Chris Wright at lap 18 and lap 27 for Brad Perez. Perez got assisted back to pit road. Wright is still in the race. Matt DiBenedetto on the 4th lap had some sort of a mechanical issue. Might be an engine failure. There's some smoke. It looked like it might have been a tire rub, but I don't know that that was necessarily the case in the aftermath of it, because Matty D has not returned back to the racetrack. So he scored in last, off track in 38th. Perez, after getting assisted back to pit road, is 5 laps down. I'm not sure if he's still in this thing or not. Chris Wright gets the free pass with that yellow coming out, so he goes from 2 laps down to 1 lap down after being involved in the first incident, which dropped him off the lead lap, with the team making some repairs after his spin. Should have about 14 laps left in stage 1. No notable names came to pit road through this caution either. Top 8 for the restart. We're going to have William Byron, Connor Zillage up towards row 1. Behind them, Taylor Gray, Sam Mayer, Ryan Sieg, Justin Allgaier up there as well. Jesse Love, Christian Eckes just inside the top 10. Byron on the inside of row 1, the control car this time around. Green flag back in the air. A couple other cars further back on the inside looking like they're sliding around through the restart zone. It's amazing how much these cars have been fanning out into the first turn of every start or restart so far today. Byron clear for the lead up off turn 2 as Zillage holds on for second. Byron swings a little bit too far wide. Zillage has a run on him off of turn 2 down the backstretch. Taylor Gray trying to throw a big block on Ryan Sieg. He's going to get put 3 wide middle into turn 3 now. Gray slips up the track, loses several positions on the restart. Sieg to 3rd off turn 4. Sam Mayer, a push from his former teammate Justin Allgaier as they try to tag team their way around Taylor Gray, who's underneath them. Allgaier through the middle lane of the racetrack. Gutsy move by Justin Allgaier. Slides up in front of Sam Mayer, clear. Now he can get the push. Mayer had to run off the high side. And Allgaier gets by both the 54 and 41. Great move by the veteran and points leader, Justin Allgaier. Allgaier moves into 4th with that pass on both of those race cars. Christian Eckes, who's been moving up forward quietly throughout the course of the race today, gets by Taylor Gray as well. Pass was for 6th, all clear into turn 1. Had a good run off the high side of the corner before. Gray's been running that middle or bottom lane of the racetrack. Hasn't really ventured to the wall. He was doing that at the very beginning of the race when he qualified in the pole. Had the clean air. First caution, though. And a restart, Byron got around him. And doesn't seem like that 54 car is quite as quick in traffic. Gets back around the 16 of Eckes after contact off turn 2. Bumped up alongside of him. Jesse Love on the outside. He's got a car underneath him. Sheldon Creed, who fell backwards a few spots on the restart as well. 4 spots lost for Creed. Jeb Burton up 13 positions from the restart already. I don't know if he took fresh tires during the caution or not. He's up to 10th, though. That's amazing considering we're only a few laps into it. Restarted 4 laps ago, and he's already up 13 spots. Great job. 23rd to 10th for Jeb Burton. Byron's leads 0.8 of a second over Connor Zillage. 1.4 seconds to Justin Allgaier in 3rd. And then Sam Mayer is fourth, and Ryan Sieg rounds out the top 5 and fifth here in stage 1. 9 laps to go, this time behind the stage. Another car brushing the wall, this time off turn 2, and it was Sheldon Creed as he moved up in front of Brandon Jones. Quite a few drivers have been scrubbing the wall on both ends of the racetrack. The outside groove has been very bumpy. A lot of drivers that were in the Goodyear tire test in Charlotte from the Cup Series mentioned that they feel that the track even feels bumpier now than it did back in the spring when they tested. The few that were a part of that test. That's why we see a lot of multi-groove racing here. The top is so rough. But with the progressive bacon, it is the fast line. When you can get your car to control well, you get side force with the walls that have a little bit extra grip, but see quite a few drivers run out of room and get up against the fence already. Big move by Sheldon Creed, barely clear of the 48, and Nick Sanchez to his inside as he cuts underneath the 16 and gets by Christian Eckes for position. Creed's definitely a driver who knows how to run the top side of the racetrack when he chooses to run up there, and was able to get a couple of spots back that he lost on the restart with that maneuver. We have a 70 Charger across Wyoming back in the day. Brand new freeway, 150 was about it. Yeah, that's I don't. Yeah, I definitely haven't gone that fast in a car. I mean, I'm not gonna joke you guys. There's a lot of vehicles that are not mechanically built to go that fast. I mean, a place like Wyoming, though, that does seem like it's very wide open. Not a heavily populated state. 5 laps to go in the stage. Jeff flying on fresh tires. Yeah, he's up to 7th now. 7th in points coming in, so a few more stage points along the way. It could be big for him. Keeping the good times moving in the right direction. 17 spots gained as he's up to 6, getting by. Cole has fallen out of the top 5, but looking to hold on for at least a few stage points, better than his brother Tanner did after he qualified on the front row in the truck race last night. Both in the Toyota program for the lower series of NASCAR, Xfinity and trucks. Lead is now 1.7 seconds between Byron and Zilich at the front of the field, and 1.8 seconds back is Allgaier in third. Battle for second going on between the 88 and the 7 at Junior Motorsports. Allgaier took a peek to the inside, couldn't get by Zilich there. Zilich going to be making his Cup Series oval debut tomorrow. He'll be starting deep in the field in that one. And a slip-up off turn 4 where he got pretty loose on his qualifying lap earlier. He was also the first car out to qualify, so that didn't help. Jeb Burton up into the top 5, getting by Ryan Sieg that last lap, so Jeb Burton is now up to 5th. Allgaier got a decent run off turn 4 this time. We'll see if he tries to attack on Zilich again. It turns 1 and 2. Zilich kind of trying to mirror drive a bit. Didn't really pick a line. Allgaier not really sure where he wanted to go initially, but ended up in the middle lane right behind Zilich. Got tight. Center of the corner, had to lift. Now Zilich is up near the wall, trying to get some more straightaway speed down the front stretch this time, while Allgaier had to run a lane off of that to get clean air on the nose in the middle. He's got less than 2 laps to try to get this pass done. Sammy Smith and Christian Eckes also battle in the top 10. Actually, no, Eckes has fallen out of the top 10, so stage points are not on the line for that spot. It's a battle for 12. I don't know that Jeb Burton on the fresher tire is going to get another spot. It's over a second behind Sam Mayer. Final lap of stage 1. Allgaier again got to the inside of Zilich through 3 and 4, but couldn't stay alongside of him off the exit of the corner to utilize the side draft to try to make the pass again in the next turn. So Zilich has about 2 to 3 car lengths on him off turn 2 on the final lap of the stage. Byron over 2 seconds ahead of the battle for second going on well behind him. Pressure-free, William Byron going to win stage 1 of our NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Charlotte. North Carolina native is Byron. I believe the first stage win of the Xfinity Series for him this season. Seeing a few Cup regulars win at the lower levels truck and Xfinity Series of NASCAR, but Byron not one of them. Chase Briscoe in the 19 might have had an issue as they come to the finish of stage 1. Lettering rubbed off of the Goodyear Eagles on the right side of his race car, and I almost wonder if he might have gotten against the fence off turn 4. Very well could have been the case. That's probably going to make for a lengthier pit stop under the stage end then. Briscoe very loose on the outside, and then with the 44 of Brendan Poole on the outside right behind him, kind of tagged him a bit. Not sure if that might have been a loose moment because he got against the wall earlier in that turn or not. Because on that replay, it didn't really look like he got against the wall there. Maybe a little earlier. Might have cut a tire. Was able to hold on to it. The car's not wrecked, so that's big. So William Byron again wins stage 1. Connor Zillage 2nd. Justin Allgaier 3rd. Sam Mayer 4th. And Jeb Burton in 5th. Ryan Sieg 6th. Taylor Gray 7th. Nick Sanchez 8th. Brandon Jones 9th. And Jesse Love will earn the final stage point in 10th. Tim Brown, welcome into the stream. Pick was Justin. Byron's your wife's pick. Byron will be on the front row for tomorrow's, he got bumped at the last spot by Larson. He'll be starting 3rd in tomorrow's Coca-Cola 600. Byron's finished 4th or better in 3 of the last 4 600s at Charlotte, including a runner-up 2 years ago. In 2023, his best. A 4th in 2021 and a 3rd last season. Might see Jeb Burton stay out of the pits here. Unless he goes off strategy a little later and gives up the set of tires. He's going to have one less set than a lot of these other drivers that he is up with in the top 5, top 10. #109th Indianapolis 500 will be tomorrow, and that is our next live commentary stream on the channel. 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Our Coca-Cola 600 coverage will be about an hour or so after the coverage of our Indy 500 at 5:30 p.m. Eastern with our Sunday doubleheader. All 3 races tomorrow? No, I'm not doing F1. I don't really plan on ever doing any F1 races on the channel. I mean, it's mainly a NASCAR-oriented channel, but we've been doing the Indy 500 the last few years. I feel like it's the right thing to do. You know, it's the Indianapolis 500, in my personal opinion, the biggest race in all of motorsports. 109 years running as of this year. Memorial Day weekend yet again tomorrow afternoon. Frank Powers, welcome to the stream. Waiting for pit road to open up during the stage caution. We'll have pit stops for the first time today. While we continue to wait, we'll take a quick break. You're listening live on KRC, Xfinity Series Racing at Charlotte. A quarter of the way home. Length of this race today, only half the length of tomorrow's Cup race. 600 miler. This one today, 300. Hard to believe we get to the end of this race today and we're only going to be halfway through the Cup race tomorrow at the same lap. Unless this one goes to overtime. Which could happen. We've seen that several times in the Xfinity Series. I feel like we see overtime more in the Xfinity Series this season than any other. Across the top 3.
Press car. Stage 1 complete for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, Charlotte Motor Speedway. William Byron gets the win. Pit stops coming. A matter of moments. On a race day, right? Go to shop.cwtv.com to shop race day gear, grills, and more. Brought to you by Pit Boss Grills. Bigger, hotter, heavier. How great is this scene? I mean, we talk about Pit Boss and their involvement, but all the campers here, and this is fun.
And the crowd last night was massive. We got a great crowd on hand here today. Tomorrow, I hear an absolutely massive crowd will be descending upon this racetrack.
Pit stops are big to establish track position, but this is a tough pit road to get your work done. Progressive Pit Road is open. Here's Dylan Welch.
And Ryan Siegel peel off the top of the screen said that he was tight in the middle of the corner, had no grip on exit, and it kept getting worse. They'll make a small track bar and air pressure adjustment. Sam Mayer, second track, air pressure, and they'll add a piece of tape, Cam.
William Byron in that blue and white 17 car said it started pretty quick, tight center, and then the heat cycles did not help that tight condition. Adam Waldenberg said these sticker tires should help. No major adjustments on that race car. The 88 of Connor Zillage. Connor just said I started free and then built tight center as the run goes. They did make a slight adjustment. He also added, I think Justin's mad at me and I don't know why. Is what he told the team.
Okay, we'll continue to watch, see how that evolves. William Byron holds serve, wins the race off pit road. Allgaier gets a spot. Really good effort for Taylor Gray in the 54 team. Zillage goes 2 in the wrong direction. Jones gets it done as well. It's Memorial Day weekend in Charlotte, North Carolina. You're watching the NASCAR Xfinity Series live on CW.
Our leaderboard's going to update when they get to the start-finish line this time by. Zillich actually lost 2 positions on pit road, fell to 4th. The car in front of him that pulled into the pit box was Dean Thompson, and it looked like he was pretty wide in his box and had to go wide out of the box, obviously, to get around that car, and I think that's what costed the 88 a couple spots on pit road. I don't know if it was so much the pit crew in general. I was almost wondering if he was going to have to back up and then fire off. If he had to do that, that would have been even another spot or 2 lost on top of it. So William Byron will be the leader again. Justin Allgaier going to be probably on the front row with him. Taylor Gray getting a few spots back. Connor Zillich going to be in row number 2. And then Brandon Jones, Nick Sanchez. Ryan Sieg, Sam Mayer. Jesse Love, Sheldon Creed. Christian Eckes, Austin Hill will be the top dozen. Briscoe, McLaughlin, Lights are going to end up hitting pit road here before they go green. So it'll cycle them back to the tail end of the lead lap. Chris Wright going to get the free pass during the last 2 yellows, the stage caution at lap 45, and then the incident with Brad Perez, which has knocked him out of the race at lap 27. Parker Ritzlaff has fallen a couple laps down in the 4 car. In the 36th place position. Not sure what might have happened for Parker. Yep, 7 finally going to be able to get by the 88 through the pit stop, so we'll see what's going to happen here on the restart. We'll have our diecast showing at the end of stage 2 as usual, and we will close our chat poll for who you think will win today's race at the end of stage 2 as well. Our like goal is 50 likes for this stream today. We're at 28. We didn't quite get to our like goal during the live commentary stream earlier today at practice and qualifying for the Cup Series, and we also did not get there for the truck race. We were a few shy in both streams, so definitely be sure to hit that like button if you're watching so we can get to that goal for our Xfinity Series race today. We did have over a couple hundred during the ARCA race yesterday. Greatly appreciate everybody that tuned in for that one. And is tuned in all the way throughout the weekend as well, not just that race. Fourth live commentary stream of the week, and a couple more still to go. Looking to see who has the fastest lap of the race. Through stage 1, it might be Taylor Gray still. 30.792, I believe. Which is on the second lap of the event.
active involvement in church life. And finally, Ryan Sieg drives for the Isabella Santos Foundation, which supports improving pediatric cancer treatment and care. Getting ready for the restart to begin our second stage. Front row, going to be William Byron, Justin Allgaier. I'll sign up for some of that. And back in the pack, going to be William Sawalich. Tough pit stop for them. Had an uncontrolled tire. He will have to come from deep as we begin our second stage. And here come the front runners into the Echo Park Automotive restart zone.
All right, green flag back in the air. Byron, great launch on the inside of row number 1. Didn't even need a push from behind either from Taylor Gray. Well clear into the first turn. Justin Allgaier on the outside for second on Taylor. Taylor had a good fire off on the fresh tires from the start of the race, so getting a couple positions back on pit road there. We'll see how he settles in third, but he's still back in traffic, which he has struggled in so far. Connor Zilic lined up just behind him, single file, top 5 or 6 positions. Gaggle cars 2 and 3 wide, still through 3 and 4, further back in the top 10 and just beyond that. Nearly contact 3 wide. Off the exit of that last corner for Christian Eckes. Jesse Love going to get by him on the outside. Brandon Jones underneath is also clear. And now Love and Jones run side by side for position. Or at least they were. Jones didn't have enough momentum down the back straightaway from the bottom lane that Love was able to clear on the high side. Jesse runs the inside now. And Jones gets back underneath Eckes, trying to get that spot back as well. So William Byron, after winning stage 1, gets a great restart. And he is now out in front of the field. Justin Allgaier just put down the fastest lap of anybody in the race that last time by. 30.693, so he has the bonus point for the Xfinity Fastest Lap Award. And he's running down our leader in the beginning portion of stage 2. Nick Sanchez up into the top 5 for the first time. Great run for that 48 team up to 5th. Shane Richards, welcome into the stream. Bottom of the racetrack, Justin Allgaier staying glued to that white and blue painted line. Same for Byron, the leader. Byron a little bit better through 3 and 4. And Parker Retzlaff still down on pit road, by the way. I mentioned he fell off the lead lap during the stage break, and he is now 5 laps down on pit road again. A few laps after the green flag, and they are going to be backing that car down pit road, and it looks like Retzlaff's day will be done. Mechanical issue. And that is the second Alpha Prime car to have an issue today. Brad Perez and now Parker Retzlaff out of the race. Only Brennan Poole continues for that organization. And speaking of which, Brennan Poole is currently running 24th. Byron to the middle to upper groove. He's definitely had a lot of pressure since the restart by Allgaier. Justin's been within about 3 to 4 car lengths of him this entire stage. Taylor Gray's lost ground from the top 2, enough so that Connor Zilic is underneath him for 3rd. Oh, contact off turn 4. Zilic went wide. Saves his race car. He got a bit tight. And then loose after the contact. Kept his car from spinning out. Having a moment like that, though, you're going to burn the rear tires off of the car a little early in the run. We go green to the end of the stage. We still got about another 30 laps left. Zilic was a hand out the window. Probably said, hey, my bad. Didn't mean to get up into you. Seen a lot of cars pushing wide, sliding up off the bottom through the bumps off turn 4. Quite a few in qualifying earlier today, and seen it in the race as well. That's why we've seen some drivers scrub the wall on both ends of the racetrack. It seems like the bumps a little bit worse in 4 than what they are in turn 2. Turn 2, just a tighter exit to the corner with the flat and straight back straightaway compared to the curved and D-shaped oval on the front stretch. Chase Briscoe, after restarting at the rear of the field in the 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing, is up 11 spots to 22nd on the restart. Anthony Alfredo up 8 spots in the 42 car, up to 19th. So the biggest movers in the correct direction since the restart. The biggest movers in the wrong direction would include 9 spots lost for Leland Honeyman, 7 for Catherine Legg at the tail end of the lead lap. Side-by-side commercial break going on the CW once again. Top 10 in the intervals between them have William Byron up ahead of Justin Allgaier by 0.4 of a second, 2.7 seconds to third place Connor Zilic, and 3.2 seconds to Taylor Gray in fourth. Sam Mayer's in fifth, 3.7 seconds off the lead. Nick Sanchez is 3.7 seconds back as well in sixth, battling for fifth with Mayer. Ryan Sieg is 4.6 seconds off the lead in seventh. Jesse Love in eighth is 4.9 seconds back. Brandon Jones 5.9 seconds off the lead in ninth, and Carson Quapple is 7.5 seconds off the lead, rounding out the top 10. Quapple's up 6 positions from the restart. So that's the top 10 in the intervals between themselves and our race leader, William Byron, who has led the most laps so far. Byron started fourth. He had won stage 1. He's led 37 laps. Taylor Gray from the pole led for 23, 2 for Connor Zilic. And those are the only 3 drivers to lead a lap in the race today. 5 lead changes total. Our coverage continues of the BetMGM 300 in Charlotte live on KRC. As soon as they come back from the break, I'll let you listen in to some of the CW Sports' coverage. I got to get a bathroom break in here, so I'll let them take over during green flag action for the first time here today. Half a second lead builds up now between Byron and Allgaier. For the most part, they've been trading lap times back and forth. That last lap, Byron was a little bit quicker by about 0.04 of a second. Those two have been running the 2 quickest lap times on the racetrack currently. Kind of regret my decision of taking Chase Briscoe for the win, and kind of wish I would have taken William Byron. Briscoe getting against the fence a little earlier on and losing track time. He's been in the top 10, but he hasn't been in the top 5 yet. Where Byron's led the most laps.
In honor of Military Appreciation Month, GovX is proud to support those who serve our community and country and communities. If you have a military or first responder background, scan the QR code now for unbeatable deals on thousands of top brands. GovX, savings for those who serve. Almost halfway through stage 2, NASCAR Xfinity Series racing here at Charlotte.
You're on board there, Nick Sanchez. He did a great job off the restart to get up in the top 5. But since then, it's sort of been swallowed up by this couple of cars falling back. Went back to the top 10 a little bit here as he's trying to fend off Jesse Love.
What'd you call this place in the open? The Beast?
In the Southeast.
The Southeast. Here's a little bit of that. You saw it when we were side by side a moment ago.
Yeah, this is incredible. Creed got this massive run. Atkins went up the block, but then when they get down to turns 3 and 4, the 00 goes from the very top to the middle. The 8 goes from the bottom to the middle. So a big shot right there by Creed. He was not pleased with what happened off the other end. And that, I get it. Like when you have that big run going through the middle, like you kind of expect that guy to give you the lane because you're already on edge.
Yep. And when you're up top like he is, and that car's sliding up front of you, you're like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And then it happens.
There's a little wall action.
AJ Henry had that thing hung out off turn 2.
Big time. Williams Wallach in the 18, right back through. Leland Honeyman in the 70.
This track's
Awesome. We had not lacked action one bit here.
Yeah, it's so good.
So awesome just to watch the Xfinity car drive around here. It seems like every corner they're out of control in some respects. One car there, sideways.
See our Toyota driver update, Williams Wallach. Boy, they've been fighting an uphill climb again today, Dylan.
Yeah, they have. We saw on that initial start that they lost quite a few spots. And then it just kind of got worse from there. On this pit stop, they had planned to make a slower stop to make several adjustments just to help the car get a little bit better. So Wallace had reported that it was just way too snug for him. So they had an intentionally slow stop. Then they had a hose failure. And then they had an uncontrolled tire. So it just kind of unraveled on that entire stop. So he's way back in the field running 26 right now. Felt like his car was good in traction, but they've got a lot of track position to make up to capitalize on that.
Where do you start to dissect that stuff? I think you just sort of say, hey, everybody, let's just not think about that one restart.
Let's get it all the way right now.
Yeah.
Not have any of those the rest of the day.
You know, he ran the ARCA race last night, and despite some damage, had a pretty good race car, solid finish. And, boy, it just hasn't gone his way this season. A lot of rookie moments for the 18. Here's his teammate. Going to be on the pole for the Coke 600 tomorrow. Chase Briscoe driving the 19.
I think this has been a tough transition for Chase. You know, to jump into Xfinity car and over for the first time in a couple of years after being so focused on the Cup car. How different those are. He mentioned in practice, showed some speed and qualifying for sure, but now since getting in the race, just feel like. And he talked about how much the car is moving around, even down the straightaways, and it just sort of feels out of control. And the pure end of these race cars typically leads. That doesn't happen in the Cup car. That's something you have to get used to and feel out. It's very tough to jump in that Cup car back from these big parts of this.
Just behind him, on board, Daniel Dow.
Yeah, watch his head. As you go across those bumps, you see it just bouncing in between that headrest on both sides. And there's places that it'll do that 3 or 4 times, and your vision gets blurry when you go across that section of the track. And the car, lose front grip, lose rear grip, kind of bounces up the racetrack. But over the course of this race, your head bouncing back and forth like that, it's exhausting.
It'll give you a headache.
Literally, yeah.
Will. Especially if your headrest isn't set up nicely with soft padding on each side. When it bounces side to side like that, it's really disorienting.
Saw Anthony Alfredo, 42, trying to make a move for position. And for 8, Sanchez and Brandon Jones.
That's a great shot.
Yeah, Brandon was a little cautious right there. Not sure if Sanchez was going to get in that spot. That's a wise decision to not slide up in front of him. That's a great perspective right there. You hear Sanchez really working the throttle.
And right behind him, Carson Quaffle. He's been very quiet today, but up 6 positions since the restart.
So if you're Sanchez, you want to stop this pass, you're going to have to go higher in 1 and 2. That's what he does this time. He pays that outside a little bit too much open air up there. So he goes higher, kind of towards the 20 low. See if this works for him down in 3 and 4.
How much does this create a little bit of a wake for the one of Carson Quaffle to get a run?
Well, you're just trying to figure out which lane you want to follow right here. He knows the 48's kind of on the struggle, but when you see Sanchez get loose and tries to get back to the gas, and then as that 20 car slides up in front of him, takes even more air off the car, makes it drive worse. 48 seems to me that he's good on restarts, and he takes off, but his car fades more than a lot of these others.
But I think it's what we're seeing there. He's just very sideways.
Yeah.
He's really abusing those rear tires. Get the big slides out of them. Those wiggles, those are all sapping performance in those tires. They're adding heat to the rear tires. That just counts if you do that more and more, taking away performance and grip.
A couple of cautions for incident in the opening stage. We're in the midst of our longest green flag run of the day. William Byron leading Allgaier, Zilich, Gray, and Mayer. Inside of 15 to go, stage 2.
Let's just get a closer look.
5 immersive worlds.
It's finishing up my food. That's why the camera turned off. I'm not done yet. I'll do that a little bit later on in the race. Streaming all afternoon. Got to keep the energy levels up. You got to keep the food and the hydration up. Delbert Wilson, welcome into the stream. So William Byron up ahead by 1.4 seconds over Justin Allgaier, extending his lead through stage 2. I'll make that 2.2 seconds now. The last time they crossed the line. 11 laps to go yet in stage 2. Byron, our stage 1 winner, trying to double down by winning the second stage of the race as well. Connor Zilich in the 3rd spot. Taylor Gray 4th. Sam Mayer 5th. Then you got Ryan Sieg in 6th place, Jesse Love 7th, Brandon Jones 8th, Carson Quapple 9th, and Sheldon Creed rounding out the top 10. 11th place is Sammy Smith, Nick Sanchez 12th, Austin Dillon is up to 13th, Austin Hill 14th, and 15th is Christian Eckes. Jeb Burton in 16th, Dean Thompson 17th, Jeremy Clements 18th, 19th for Chase Briscoe, and 20th is Anthony Alfredo. 21st, Harrison Burton, Josh Williamson 22nd, Brendan Poole 23rd, William Sawalch 24th, and 25th, Daniel Dye. 26th for Ryan Ellis, Blaine Pritchett, Garrett Smithley, first car lap down at 31st currently. And then you got Chris Wright in 22nd, Nick Light's 33rd, 34th for CJ McLaughlin, Catherine Lake 35th. And then 3 cars out of the race, Brad Perez 36th has actually returned to the racetrack after going back into the garage area following his incident earlier on. So he's passed Parker Rutzlaff, who had a mechanical issue after him. Rutzlaff is off track 37th, and Matt DiBenedetto out 38th. And I think Matt DiBenedetto has also returned to the racetrack after whatever issues he had, because he pulled off at lap 4. He's 37 laps down, but we're on lap 83. So he's probably been out on the track for about 40, 45 laps or so now. Byron ripping the outside of the racetrack. It's like through turns 1 and 2 that last corner. Just over an hour into the race, 3 cautions, 2 for incident. Back at stage 1, no yellows yet in stage 2. And the stage break at lap 45 is the most recent caution. 5 lead changes, 14 laps ran under the yellow. And lap 84 of 200 is where we're at right now. And again, lap 90 will end this stage. 58 laps led for William Byron so far in the race out of the first 84. Have 7 laps to go this time by in the stage.
That's one thing Justin's got to work on, because I'm watching him as well going to the top, and it's just like he's not doing it as committed as.
Well, that's not his strength,
It's
right?
not.
I mean, his
It's not
strength
style.
is it's when the bottom is really good. That's where he really excels.
But with these cooler temperatures, the resin on the racetrack, I just feel like he's migrating to the high side a little bit. As we're seeing so many cars run up there, making speed up there. So Justin doesn't have to adjust. Doesn't have to tell Pullman, hey, here's what I need in the car to be better up here, because they can trade lap times back and forth a little bit, but Williams seems to have the edge in running the ball, especially in 3
The only thing good for the 7 car is that if everybody's running the middle to the top, it's hard to pass. When you catch lap cars, that might hold up Byron a little bit more than Justin, who can adapt and run the bottom.
Hey, with 6 to go on the stage, here's something we need to keep an eye on. This battle is big because Taylor Gray needs every stage point he can get. After starting on the pole, he got 4 in stage 1. So every position being a point, 54 trying to climb from below that line. And lap traffic and who goes a lap down. Right now, you saw Kyle Sieg go a lap down. J.J. Yaley is now a lap down. First car in the 1 lap down position. That would mean he'd get the free pass. We'll keep an eye on that. Leland Honeyman, last car on the lead lap right now, scored 28. As with 5 to go, we watch what's happening for 3rd.
Yeah, Taylor Gray went to the inside. Phillips gave him a lot of room, though, and moved up the racetrack. That looks like it's going to get spicy.
And that's one of the most painful things down that corner is you'll enter it on bottom, maybe the center, and be like, oh, I've got it. And suddenly the car just starts floating up the track. You're like, no. Dylan, that's something that you just don't want to happen when you get down to 3 and 4.
No, not at all. And speaking of 3 and 4 for this 54 car, one thing that I think Taylor has done the last couple laps that may have helped him is working on his arc. The entry into turn 3, Jason Ratcliffe, the crew chief, came on the radio not 10 laps ago and said, I think that's just where we're getting beat. If you can arc it into 3 more, it's just going to help us all the way through that corner. So it looks like Taylor has maybe done that because he's sort of gone to the whip here in these closing laps. And then he came on the radio just a bit ago and said, I got greedy racing that 88. So they told him, just throw your tires down. Still got time. Let's go get it, Cam.
Well, really solid day for Dean Thompson in that 26 car, currently running in the 16th position. Remember, he made his Xfinity Series debut this race last year, and this is only his 2nd track outside of Talladega that he's been to a 2nd time. So that experience from last year helping this rookie, and those 2 weeks off came at the perfect time because at Texas they finished 27th, and that snapped a streak of 7 straight top 20. So the team told me they kind of reset during those 2 weeks off. They wanted to get back into those top 20s. Again, Dean currently running in the 16th position, said he feels good in 1 and 2, but needs more rear security in 3 and 4.
We got a great
2 laps to go in stage 2 for William Byron. He's got a 2.7-second advantage over Justin Allgaier. Allgaier has the fastest lap of the race and was actually on that last restart, so it shows that he's got maybe a little bit better short run speed than Byron. Just couldn't pass him with Byron having the clean air advantage. Obviously, William Byron is very quick, equally as fast as Allgaier on the short run. Got maybe just a little bit slower, but having the track position was the big difference, at least from the last time they restarted. 17 was able to gain a spot on pit road on the last stop, so maybe they're going to be able to gain one more spot and beat the 17 out of the pits. Be one way to get around him. Coming to the end of stage 2, William Byron, just over 3 seconds ahead, will win the second stage of the race. Sweeping stages 1 and 2 so far today at Charlotte. Justin Allgaier second, Connor Zilic third, Taylor Gray fourth, and Brandon Jones rounds out the top 5 and 5th. Sixth place was Sam Mayer, Ryan Sieg 7th, Jesse Love 8th, Sheldon Creek 9th, Sammy Smith rounds out the top 10. And those will be the drivers receiving stage points in this stage. 17 car just part-time for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Not a full-time ride, so these race wins from Kyle Larson, or a race win from Kyle Larson in the 17 car specifically this season, doesn't qualify them for the owners' playoffs. Because that car doesn't race every week, they are not eligible. First 2 stage wins of the Xfinity Series season for William Byron. Kyle Larson might have won the last Xfinity Series race, but he didn't dominate that race. He led barely over 30 laps. Took him quite a ways to go from the middle of the pack to the front. He had a speeding penalty earlier on in the day that also set him back a bit, before he was able to take the lead in the late going for the first time. And once he did, he never looked back. As we have reached the end of stage 2, we'll close our chat poll down. 46 votes, it looks like, amongst you guys in the chat. And 43% taking William Byron for the win. 32% had Justin Allgaier. 13% taking Austin Dillon. Austin Hill at 10% of the 46 votes. Time for our stage 2 diecast showing. Austin Dillon in the race today, so I figured I'd show off an Austin Dillon diecast. He is also a former Coca-Cola 600 winner, and it is that weekend, of course, so I figured I'd show this diecast off again. This is his 2013, I had it right, 2013 Daytona 500 car, in fact. The Cheerio scheme he had from that season. He's a rookie in the Daytona 500 that year, so there's the rookie stripes in the back of the car. I miss the rookie stripes being on the back of a race car. Not gonna lie. I don't like that they got rid of that before this season. So it makes these diecasts more vintage, I guess. Got quite a few rookie diecasts. This is one of them. I mentioned on the stream before when I've showed this diecast in the past that I really like it because it kind of reminds me of the Bumblebee car, the way the stripes are on the Camaro. Well, I guess it looks like a Camaro. It's not a Camaro. It's actually a Chevy SS, but it reminds me of Bumblebee's Camaro from the movie Transformers. The way the Cheerios paint scheme is on there. Way different from the Cheerio schemes on those Richard Petty Motorsport 43 cars back in the 2000s. Late 90s with John Andretti. So that is our diecast showing for today. We'll have another former Coke 600 winner during the Indy 500 diecast, or race tomorrow, we'll have an IndyCar diecast from an Indy 500 winner. I only have 2 IndyCar diecasts. I got a Jimmy Johnson, which I probably showed off earlier this season, I would imagine. And I have another one, which I'll show off tomorrow. Coke 600 car, race-winning car that I have also. Which is probably one of my favorite diecasts that I do own. Just can't wait to show that one off. Might do 2 diecast showings during the 600 tomorrow. Considering it is an extra race, we'll have an extra stage. So maybe during stage 2 and stage 3. It'll be a long one. We're going to be streaming for a long time tomorrow between both of those races. I'm in for it. I'm ready. Got rain shortened last year with the 600, so it ended up not being as long. And the year before that, the 600 was rain on a Monday because of rain. So should stay clear though for tomorrow, and we should be able to get both races in, and I'll be ready. Yeah, there we go. Lost 30 pounds since joining Haas Factory team. That makes sense. I was gonna say because I wouldn't have believed that Sheldon Creed was 188 pounds, but I guess I haven't seen an interview from him much this season since going to Haas. Just kind of remember from prior years. Yeah, so he has lost some weight. The numbers make more sense now then. Good for him. Pit road going to be open this time by. Byron had quite a few lap cars between himself and Allgaier, so he's going to have a decent amount of a gap and an advantage as he comes into the pits.
The pit road is open. Let's send it to Dylan.
And the first pit stall will be Taylor Gray. Reported that he fired off edgy, and then the car got tight on throttle the last 5 laps of that run. Changed 4 tires and add fuel. Sam Mayer also got really tight at the end of that run. They're going to take the air pressure out that they put in at the ends of the first stage, man.
For William Byron, you see the 17 car. It was tight, did fire off with a lot of greatness done. Adam Ball said we'll work to free it up and get it to hang out longer. Ben Bonham in the 7 car, that's just now Byron. He said free tight center, free off. Jim Coleman, the he said he thinks that cloud cover is going to accelerate the track changes. He wants to get a half down on the track bar as well as air pressure adjustments.
You know, for where that's
William Byron wins the race out of the pits. Justin Allgaier second just as they came in. Connor Zillage lost 4 positions on pit road. Team lost 2 spots the first time, 4 this time. And that bumps up 1 spot each for Jones, Gray, and Love just behind. Jojo, welcome to the stream. Going to be a long day tomorrow, but probably not as long as when you stayed up for 24 hours. That is very true. I'll be willing to do the Rolex 24 on a yearly basis. I always kind of wanted to do a 24-hour stream on the channel before, and I figured what better way than to do a live commentary 24 hours of the Rolex 24. So, you know, and considering that race only goes on once a year, I feel like I could pull that off. I just got to remember to do what I did this year to try to help me for it, which is start staying up later, the night or 2 beforehand. Not just 1 night, but 2 nights, just to extra prepare myself for it. Because I really didn't start even feeling tired at all until like 7 o'clock that next morning. There's like 5-6 hours left in the race, and then I started to hit a wall. But those first 18 hours were a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. They had a green flag run of longer than 4 hours, though, in that stretch from about the 18th hour to the 22nd hour of the race. And that was getting pretty drunk out. And at that point of the race, that was pretty tough. When the sun started coming up that next morning, and I'd stayed up all the way through the night, that was tough. I mean, like, I'll snack off camera sometimes on these live commentary streams, just depending on how long the day was, kind of like I was earlier, and I got to finish my food at some point here before the end of the race. But during that stream, like, having to, like, eat on stream was very weird, like actual meals. Because I was streaming for 24 hours, I had to make sure I stayed up on food that was going to keep my energy levels high. I went through so much water. I still almost lost my voice at the end of it. It didn't help that I had laryngitis like the week before that. So I had just gotten my voice back probably 3 or 4 days before the Rolex 24. Hopefully that doesn't happen again for next year. Definitely the only stream that I'm gonna have to feel 100% to actually do. If I was under the weather going into that, and then having to be up for 24 hours, there's just no way. Good thing it's in the middle of the winter, so my allergies are non-existent basically that time of the year in January, especially in Ohio. Probably didn't even break 20 degrees that day. Yep, 4 stages for the 600. Yeah, I just don't like eating on camera. I have to turn the camera off. It's a little different during the Rolex 24 because I had to eat several times throughout the course of the 24 hours. I eat a lot throughout the day anyway with working out. All right, so it sounds like there's going to be a driver. Oh, okay, I see. It's going to be a rotating driver in the Xfinity Series booth. Austin Cindric at Nashville, Chastain, Mexico City, Blaney at Pocono. Atlanta, Kyle Busch will be in the booth. Sonoma, AJ Allmendinger, and a few others. Probs for William Byron. Looks like he might have been speeding on pit road. Wow. I don't know how you speed on pit road when you have the advantage he did coming into the pits. That just should not happen. I mean, he shouldn't speed anyway, but when you speed on pit road when you have a multi-car length advantage entering the pits, that just push it too hard when you don't have to. Big opening for Justin Allgaier and some of those other drivers at the front of the field. Byron had over 7 seconds over the third place car, Taylor Gray, at the end of that last stage, Gray and Zilich. Justin Allgaier was only 2 seconds off the lead, but couldn't keep up with the 17. So now Allgaier could be in a league of his own to begin stage 3 if he can get out ahead. Have a good launch off the restart. We'll see how things go. Still a lot of time left in the grand scheme of things, especially in the Xfinity Series where there's not nearly as many competitive cars. With 100 to go, he could definitely get back up inside the top 10. If he's going to have a shot to win, he's probably going to need a yellow or two. Mike G, welcome to the stream. Allgaier going to take the inside of row 1. I believe every driver who's controlled the restart has elected the inside. Allgaier going to do the same here. He's got Taylor Gray to his outside this go around. Green flag back in the air. Big move to the outside goes Jesse Love. 3 wide trying to get to about 4th place, but he's actually going to lose some time as a result of it. Sammy Smith going to pull up and block him in the center of the corner. Love's going to go backwards even more. Pulling to the outside for both the 8 and the 2. Definitely didn't work out. They only lost spots doing so. Taylor Gray holding on strong on the outside until they got into turn 3. Then Justin Allgaier finally got to clear him through the center of the corner. 101 laps to go here at Charlotte. Allgaier out in front. Justin Allgaier still has the fastest lap of the race back on lap 54. We'll see if he can set an even faster lap than that. A lot of other drivers behind him that last time by set their fastest lap of the race, but Allgaier did not. Could be pacing himself for the longer run, knowing this final stage is longer than stages 1 and 2. If they did go green for a long period of time, it would definitely have green flag pit stops before the end of the event. Most of these teams still have 2 sets of tires left as well. So if we see any cautions, would definitely lead into some sort of a pit strategy going forward. Byron coming through the field. Yes, he is. Thought about going 4 wide. He thought better of it. He had Sawalich, the rookie, to his outside. The 10 of Daniel Dye right around him. Couple of rookies. Byron's up to 23rd. I believe we had just under 30 cars on the lead lap on that last restart. 28. 28 cars on the lead lap, so he's gained 5 positions. Yeah, I definitely think he can get to the top 10 before we catch a caution if we do have a long green flag run. But it's going to take a yellow or two to have a chance to get up in contention for the win. It's going to gain a lot of those spots back in the first portion of this run with the field congested together still from the restart. Byron in that middle group again, this time 3 wide, splitting between Jeremy Clements and Dean Thompson. As he breaks to the 21st place position. Byron won the first 2 stages of the race. He's led the most laps, so definitely has a fast car, if not the fastest car. But he's in a tough circumstance here, having to come from behind after speeding on pit road. Maybe he did it intentionally. He just wanted to pass cars, have some fun. I doubt that's the case. I'm just joking. Jesse Love on pit road having an unscheduled stop.
Back from this in the final stage.
It feels like you're going 2 miles an hour as you drive down pit road and everyone else is under green. So mad at yourself for making a mistake.
When he goes back and looks at it, he'll see that it was really early.
Right.
I'm going to assume it was a restart lane violation. He jumped to the outside lane of the racetrack. He was outside of row 3 on the restart and a little too early. It ended up not working out well for him because he actually lost spots anyway. I think going into the second kink, getting up to speed on the outside of the front stretch when we've seen a couple drivers try to go 3 wide to the top and make that move, you have to have a really good launch compared to the cars ahead of you. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to make that work because it's just the longest way around when you're still trying to build momentum, build speed. Harrison Burton, Jeb Burton, rather. The other Burton getting passed by Kyle Larson. Or, sorry, not Kyle Larson, William Byron. I'll get it right. 17 car. We've seen Larson in it several times this year. He was the last driver to win in that car. Seen Byron in it a couple times this season as well. Chase Elliott's ran a race. And he might still have more to come. It's the Hendrick Motorsports entry, basically, for the Xfinity Series. Byron has gotten up inside the top 15. He is 16th now, actually, 1 spot outside of it. He battles Anthony Alfredo for 15th. Chase Briscoe's made his way to 13th. Definitely not working as quickly through the field compared to that of Byron. Austin Dillon 11th. So all 3 Cup regulars in the field today outside the top 10 at the moment with 94 laps to go. A 2-second lead is built up between Justin Allgaier over his teammate in second, Connor Zilich. 2.9 seconds to Taylor Gray in third, and Sam Mayer is 3 seconds off the lead in fourth. Byron about 8 seconds off the lead back in 15th. Signed up for Prime for those? Yeah, I've been signed up. They've had practice and qualifying on Prime for most of the first half of the season, so that's how I've been able to watch all that action and bringing you that coverage every weekend. It's like the tear off. Oh, it finally blew away. Never mind. It was hanging on there for dear life on Sheldon Creed's windshield, and then it finally blew away as he was entering turn 1. Hopefully that was up into the fence or in the wall somewhere and not on somebody's grill, because if a tear off is there, that is definitely going to cause somebody to overheat. Usually doesn't blow off like that, but it did. Maybe it's in the grandstands. Somebody gets a free tear off. That'd be a cool souvenir from a NASCAR race. Hasn't been a camera that's picked up a tear off on another front bumper of somebody's car, so leads me to believe that it's off the racing line. Yeah, drive-through penalty for Love. There was a restart lane violation, which is why it was after the restart that he had to serve the penalty. And we got in the caution right away, would have restarted at the tail end of the field, which would have been better to be bunched up in that situation. Kind of like William Byron was for the speeding penalty, but having to serve it under green. He's still on the lead lap, but he's the last car on the lead lap at 28th, and he's not that far ahead of our race leader, Justin Allgaier. Allgaier's been putting together better lap time, so there's a chance Jesse Love does go a lap down at some point here in this final stage before pit stops. It's only a couple seconds ahead of him. Allgaier running lap times in the mid 31 seconds this far into the green flag run. And more than 30 seconds off the lead was Love. So Allgaier still has the fastest lap of the race, which again is lap 54, 30.693. He's quick enough on the short runs to keep up with Lilly and Byron, but the long run speed hasn't been there. Having the advantage of restarting in the lead this time and Byron having the speeding penalty definitely could be the difference maker. Austin Dillon has cracked the top 10 for the first time today as he's up to 10th, or at least was. He just lost a spot to Brandon Jones. Byron is just behind him in 12th, with 10 seconds off the lead. He's losing time to the leader interval-wise just because he's having to pass so many cars. Allgaier's got a bunch of clean air. And that's why he's running the fastest lap times of anybody on the track. Chase Briscoe trying to follow Byron to get by Nick Sanchez, but that's not going to happen. Byron working on Austin Dillon as well. To the outside lane of the racetrack while Dillon runs the middle through 1 and 2. .1 second lead now for Allgaier still, kind of managing that gap over Zilich. At last lap, Zilich was a little bit quicker than our leader, a few hundredths of a second faster. Sam Mayer is in the third spot, still 4 seconds off the lead and 4.8 seconds back. Taylor Gray in fourth. Shout out to Ryan Sieg up in the top 5 and 5th. Carson Quapple, quiet but solid day in 6th as well. It's taken Byron a little bit of time to try to get by Austin Dillon and Brandon Jones for 10th and 11th right in front of him. Down to the bottom of the track. Wiggles just a bit. Can't hold the bottom line steady enough through the corner to stay alongside Dillon. One car got against the wall recently. 70 of, who's that, Leland Honeyman? Yep. Pretty good hit against the wall. Looks like both right side tires are flat on the 70 machine. He'll definitely fall off the lead lap with the unscheduled pit stop and still outside the fuel window, so he's not going to be able to make it to the end of the race if it were to stay green the rest of the way. And Allgaier managing his gap 2.1 seconds over Connor Zilich with just over 80 laps to go here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the BetMGM 300, the NASCAR Xfinity Series. With this being the first time that Allgaier has led today, he has now already led for 23 laps. Second most in the race to that of Byron, who won the first 2 stages of the event. Byron just passed Austin Dillon that last lap for 11th. Byron has led for 69 of the 119 laps. So 19 positions since the restart already. It's kind of reminded me of what Larson did in the Truck Series race at Homestead earlier this year. He had a speeding penalty, came back and still won, even with it going green through the final stage, believe it or not. So maybe the same could be said here for Byron. He does have more laps to work with than Larson did that day at Homestead. I knew he had speed. I didn't think he had that much speed considering how fast the 7 was earlier. 17's going to taper off at some point, you would imagine. Just hasn't happened yet. So we'll take a break while the CW is on their commercial break. You're listening live on KRC. NASCAR Xfinity Series race coverage continues. And before we take that break, it looks like more issues. Staying green, another car against the wall. This time it is the 00 of Sheldon Creed. So Creed will drop out of the top 10. That bumps Byron up another spot. He's now in 8th. Creed was the last driver in on the playoff standings coming into the night, so that's a big hit. It's going to be tough for him to get back on the lead lap in this one. Jesse Love falls a lap down at the hands of Justin Allgaier through turns 1 and 2 as well. I mentioned that he had the pass-through penalty after a restart lane violation. Love had been in the top 10 all day, and not the case anymore. He's a lap down. Allgaier's lead is still 1.8 seconds over Zilich. Love is in the 26th place position, first car lap down. Blaine Perkins, last car in the lead lap in the 31. Let you listen into more of the CW broadcast when they come back from commercial. Might see pit stops on the other side. Gotta be getting close, I would imagine. Drivers may try to split the final stage in half. Probably still about 25 laps away from anybody pitting.
Folks, we're in the final stage of the race, and it's the perfect time to make yourself a Cabo Wabo smoke show. Just scan the QR code for a recipe to enjoy while you sit back, relax, and watch the rest of the race. Cabo Wabo, the official tequila of NASCAR.
Cabo
I like the
Wabo.
excitement the fans had on top of the camper. They saw they were on TV.
I thought
They
you
love lap 122. That's what it is.
I thought you were going to say you like my excitement doing the read.
Well,
in anticipation
Well, that's just a given.
our post-race festivities. You're watching the BetMGM 300 on CW, and you're looking at tires from the 00 of Sheldon Creed unscheduled pit stop. And it's just another in a long list of issues this team has had lately. DNFs in 3 of the last 4 and tops the wall here.
And no excitement from the 00 team on what happens here. So he's already in the wall at this point. We don't know if the right front maybe went down before that. You know, he had scuffed the wall a little bit earlier on. We've seen so many cars do that. We've seen him run the wall, really committed on running the wall. He's usually one that does commit to getting up right on that wall. And that's, you know, that's the margin of error that you have when you do that, that if it goes wrong, you get in the wall and you can cut a tire down.
You know, he's being shown 27th now. And if you look bottom right in our bumper, he has now fallen below the playoff cut line. There's 2 reasons for that. One, he's had problems again. But Taylor Gray starts on the pole, collects some stage points, goes from below the cut to plus 13 as Sammy Smith makes a big run in the end.
Trying this again.
I mean,
Teammates have just battled this whole run right here. You saw Carson.
Boys.
but hey, if they keep doing that, the next car they're going to see William Byron, who's a couple of seconds back, but he's starting to reel him in a little
They're
bit.
getting ready to hear 17 outside.
Yes, they are.
That was the same move he tried about 10, 20 laps earlier. Just fires it off on the inside of 3 and slides all the way up in front of Carson Waltman. I think this time it's obviously stuck.
Yeah, Carson got kind of choked down by a lap car, which allowed Sammy to get that run.
As we watch these guys battle, Brandon Jones, Austin Hill, a couple of veterans, 74 laps to go. Let's talk strategy for a minute. Most everyone's got 2 sets of tires left. We know you're going to have to make one more pit stop in regard to fuel mileage. Where do you see this thing shaking out if we do stay green?
I think it depends on who you are, right? Like I think it depends on who you are, and you know, if you're trying to leap, you would split this in half, knowing that you have 2 sets of tires left, so you still have something in the bank if we get a caution late.
And I think that's correct. This field window opens here in a couple of laps. I just think that you're most likely then in the window, and it's going to, especially for Justin Allgaier, if he reacts first, Zilich and his team will have to react to that. If Zilich's team is on pit road, the 7 will have to react to that. We saw at Texas, they reacted too late to the 88 of Kyle Larson there and ended up giving up the lead and losing a lot of time. What ended up getting him crashed was maybe just trying too hard to get back to the field and catch back up to Kyle Larson. So you don't want to give someone a big advantage, especially the tire fall off here. You don't want to be left out there for a couple laps later than the others pit.
Yeah, you typically never see the leader pit first. They'll let the second or third place car, you know, pit first, and if he's got a 3-second lead, it's probably about a second and a quarter per lap. So he's got a little bit of a window.
Sammy Smith looks good late in the run. It's his teammate, Justin Allgaier, out front right now with 7-2 to go.
Travel. It's gone from being an adventure to a checklist. But the world is still full of wonder. You just need a better way to find it. Introducing Airbnb experiences. Master ramen with an award-winning chef. Dive into underground jazz with a renowned.
Alrighty. Live commentary coverage continues. 3.5-second lead for Justin Allgaier. About 70 laps to go here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Connor Zilich in second, Sam Mayer third. And Taylor Gray still rounds out the top 4. 4 spots gained from the restart after losing about 4 positions on pit road for Zillage. He was second at the end of stage number 2. So he's back up into second again. William Byron still up 20 spots to 8th. His interval to that of Allgaier, he has been losing a little bit of time. I noticed he was about 11 seconds off the lead when they went to commercial the last time, and now he's 12.9. So he's definitely burning the tires off the car in comparison to the leader, and more that he tries to work his way through the field. 32.765 that last lap, about 3/10 slower than Allgaier, who had a 32.442 with the clean air. Though those lap times that Byron's running right now are very similar to that of Zillage in second, and some of the other cars up in the top 5 as well. But Justin Allgaier clearly the fastest car on the track with the clean air, which was the case for William Byron back at stage 1 and stage 2 as well, so that could happen again. Still got to get into green flag pit stops, which should happen some point sometime soon. Fuel window 62 to 65 laps. We're at 67 laps to go right now, so might see some drivers pit within the next few laps or so. Try to stretch that window out a little bit. Many of which will end up pitting at halfway through the stage. We went green with 103 laps to go. So to split it in half, probably looking at 52 laps remaining, 51, 52 to go. And I think that's when we'll see a driver like an Allgaier or Zillage, a Mayer come into the pits then. Allgaier probably wouldn't want to give too much of his lead up, so if they end up pitting a couple laps earlier than that, I think Allgaier might stay out a lap or two, but that would be about it. Doesn't want to give up too much time and allow for Zillage and Mayer to, not so much Mayer, but Zillage at 4.7 seconds off the lead to gain that ground back. And Zillage actually going to lose a lot more time that last lap. Now he's 5.3 seconds off the lead. But yeah, over 9 seconds back to third. It was over 7 seconds back to third at the end of stage 2. It was pretty much just the 17 and the 7 from at least what I believe that could have won the race on speed. And the speedy penalty for Byron has definitely hurt him. He's still in 8th. He's on the back of the 1 of Quapple for 7th right now. I knew he'd get back in the top 10 if they had a long enough green flag run, which he has. For being 12 seconds off the lead, he's going to need some cautions to try to get even closer than that. Maybe short pit and get another spot or two, but he's not going to make 12 seconds up on Allgaier on 1 full tire stint. It's almost half a track. Emmy Joe Thompson, welcome to the stream. Pulling for William Byron. Very good opportunity for him to go to victory lane here today. Again, so far so good for Willie B. 21 cars are on the lead lap with Allgaier out in front. Ryan Ellis is the last car in the lead lap in the number 71. And Jeremy Clements, the first car lap down in 22nd in the 51. Only other driver to gain more than a half a dozen positions on that last restart. Daniel Dye up 7 spots to 19th. Creed, who got against the wall, lost 18 spots to 27. Jesse Love lost 20 spots to 25th after the restart lane violation. They're both off the lead lap. And obviously going to have to pit before the end of the race. So, well, those drivers running up in the top 10 the entire race before that. Jesse Love at times was actually in the top 5. Creed was very early in the race, but not as much in stage 2. Was still up at around 8th, 9th place at the time of him getting against the wall about 20 laps ago and having to make the unscheduled stop with just more than 80 laps to go in stage 3. No recording of anybody getting to pit road yet. Allgaier still about 2/10 quicker than Connor Zillage the last lap. Now it's up to Allgaier to not make a mistake when he's down on pit road and give the race away. William Byron sped on pit road was the reason for his penalty and restarting at the back of the pack on this last restart. 60 laps to go this time by for the 7. Started in the 10th place spot. It's quickly approaching William Byron for the most laps led in the race. 22 behind him, but again, stays green to the end. He'll definitely lead the most. Big charge for Byron entering turn 3. Center of the corner, cuts down a little lower. Trying to get up alongside Carson Kvapil, but still can't do it. He's been within a couple car lengths behind him, but hasn't been able to make the pass. He just doesn't have the tires underneath him he did earlier in the run when he had to gain those 20 spots to get to where he's at. Chase Briscoe putting a battle up with Anthony Alfredo. This battle is for 12th, I do believe. 13th, actually. Alfredo up a half a dozen spots from the race start now. Must have just passed Briscoe for that 13th spot. Sid Vick, welcome to the stream. Good afternoon to you as well. Nick Sanchez looking to make a pass on William Byron. Byron might want to think about coming into the pits in the early portion of the run because he is losing time all of a sudden. Can't keep up on the outside of the racetrack. Brandon Jones is going to get by him on the outside as well, so Byron falls to 10th. Austin Dillon's in the pits. He'll be the first of the leaders to pit road.
Green flag pit stop here. 58 laps to go. You're in the window. And this is about when we anticipated teams to start coming down.
Byron coming in.
He was 12th. William Byron going to make a stop as well.
Austin
Here's
Dillon.
the guy that's dominated the race trying
Chase
to
Briscoe also pitting.
Yeah, swept both the stages. A rookie at such a tough racetrack, and then a rookie mistake by William Byron, but he's made it up to the 8th position, then stumbled out a little bit. So Adam Wall wanted to be one of the first to pit under green. Just building a little bit tight. They'll take 4 fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel. As you see on the right side of your screen, Austin Mill. This has probably been the best that car has been all day. He said it was pretty decent for most of the run. Then at the very end, starting to build free, and he finally felt like his right rear was shot, and he'll take on fresh Goodyear's Sunoco fuel.
Taylor Gray, Sammy Smith also in the pits.
Sammy Smith scheduling pit stop. Taylor Gray giving up a position inside the top 5 to come down. Come on,
Anthony Alfredo also in from about 13th. And Christian Eckes.
Talking about how great a job they've been doing.
Yeah, it looks like it rolled off the jack. Like maybe the car went forward and fell the jack, and now they can't get it back under.
Christian Eckes is in. So is Sam Mayer, Dylan.
Right, hits the marks on the right of the screen. He said that on about lap 135, about 10 laps ago, he was starting to get snug with the balance of that race car. Looks like maybe just an air pressure adjustment, 4 tires and fuel for Mayer. Kim?
Justin Allgaier from the lead is down onto pit road. Connor Zilich will take over the lead for the moment.
Shortly, you see him making that slow trek down pit road. He got bitten by a speeding penalty last year in this race in the final stage. So crew chief Jim Pullman reminding him, very careful with your speed here. He said he's tracked the apex of 1 and 2, 3 and 4 were really good though. He's just lacked a little lateral, but overall not bad as they put 4 fresh Goodyear tires on the lead. Oh, and we're slow. A little bit. They put tape on the front, slow on the left side.
Taylor Gray's got a tire going down.
Zilich leading. Flat tire now for Taylor Gray, who had enjoyed such a...
Gray's left rear tire's falling apart on him. There's definitely some damage around the left rear fender of the race car. Zilich has just made his way to pit road. Brandon Jones is now the leader. Here comes Gray into the pits. Some big chunks of rubber on the front stretch. Gray makes his way to pit road. 53 laps to go this time by. So Brandon Jones, Brennan Poole, Dean Thompson, Harrison Burton, Ryan Ellis are the top 5. They haven't pitted yet. Jeremy Clements in 6th also has not pit. Jesse Love in 7th hasn't pit after he had the restart lane violation. And caution is out for the 5th time today, or first time in stage 3, and it is that debris on the front straightaway. Caution didn't come out initially. It was sitting there for like a lap, but yellow flag's out now, and that's going to help Brandon Jones, who is still out on the racetrack. Sam Mayer in 14th is going to be the first car lap down. Therefore, he'll be getting the free pass. And everybody else going to have to take the wave around. Byron, Sammy Smith, they're going to be at the tail end of the field on the restart again. It's another gap between the 7 and the 17. Debris is probably from Taylor Gray. Yep. Pieces of sheet metal from that left rear corner panel coming off of the race car following the flat tire. Big time caution for Jesse Love. Now he can pit for tires and he's right back in it. He's only got 6 positions behind him on the lead lap. Has a quick pit stop. He might not even lose any positions. Yeah, huge caution for Jesse Love. Tough break for Taylor Gray. He was having a great day. He was up in the top 5 all day. He fell back to the back half of the top 10 in stage 1, but they made the right adjustments to the car once he was in traffic for the first time after losing the lead from leading the first 23 laps. He lost the lead to Byron on the first restart of the day. Pit road not open yet. Probably will be this next time by. So we're going to have less than 50 laps to go. We get to the next restart. Final quarter of the race. An hour and 46 minutes into this NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Charlotte. 8 lead changes, 5 cautions. We're going to see at least another lead change here because of the cars out in front of the field will be hitting pit road. Justin Allgaier should be the leader again, but he's going to have a few lap older tires and some of those restarting behind him. He only ran a few laps, but I would imagine that's going to be indicative of him staying out here. All these teams still have one more sets of tires left outside of those that stayed out a little bit longer, trying to catch the caution, which they did. Strategy definitely going to work out for those that did stay out. Jones, Poole, Thompson, Ellis, Clements. Ellis and Clements were outside the top 20. 14 cars on the lead lap. That's going to be great for them. They can relatively keep their track position. Give up a handful of positions at the most. I think Sheldon Creed.
Brandon Jones, through all this, became the race leader. He's going to make his pit stop here under caution. All those guys that had pitted. Go ahead, Kim.
I'll jump in here, Adam. Sheldon Creed going to pit it. I'll pit it. He's going to pit at the top of the screen. And remember, this is their last set of new tires. They had to make that unscheduled stop because of the right front flat for Creed. So this is their final set of stickers going on to make a chassis adjustment to counter a free condition. Jeremy Clements was really tight on that run. They'll make a track bar adjustment for him, Kim.
And you see taking off Brandon Jones finishing up that pit stop in the bright yellow Menards Toyota. He was just talking about the fronting Eatmore turn. He was shearing the backs. There was a chassis adjustment. And then Brennan Poole, what a gamble for them. He was going to pit and they yelled at him on the radio, debris, stay down. And now they get the benefit of this caution.
Talked about the situation for Sheldon Creed. He does make a pit stop here as we anticipated. We'll reset the running order when we return. 50 to go at Charlotte.
We'll wait to see exactly what the restart order is going to look like up in those front half dozen positions or so. That will be about the amount of cars that would have stayed out from the pit lane that were on the lead lap when the caution flag came out because they had made their green flag pit stop before the yellow. Cycled out of it. So Justin Allgaier, Connor Zilich will be the front 2 yet again. I wonder if they're the only 2. 14th on back. Well, 14th Mayer got the free pass. Sammy Smith, William Byron, Nick Sanchez, Ryan Sieg, Austin Hill, Carson Quapple, Austin Dillon, Chase Briscoe, Christian Eckes all took the wave around. So 9 drivers took the wave around. Jones won the race out of the pits, and I think he's in third. Zilich was maybe a lap off of pit road. He stayed out a couple laps longer than Allgaier. 2 laps going to be enough of a difference for him to keep up with the 7 a little bit better this time than what he was able to before. He was about 2 seconds off the lead for a while in the beginning half of that last green flag run, and then the later they went, that's when he started to fall off. And he was about 6 seconds off the lead before Justin Allgaier pitted and surrendered the lead to Zilich. Allgaier's got it back now. 9 lead changes on the day. Not going to have many left on the restart. Listening live on KRC, we'll take a quick break. Xfinity Series race coverage continues. Up to 43 likes on the stream. Appreciate everybody tuning in for this one. Our goal for this stream for likes is 50, so we're getting close. Only 7 away. Into the final 25% of the race. Allgaier trying to go for his 3rd win of the season. Zilich, after missing a race due to injury. Nice, good, speedy performance. He's been top 3, 5 all day. Watching the Prime commercial in the background for tomorrow's race. Even on a commercial, Dale Jr. looks excited. All right, we're going to see how this is going to shake up here. Zilich spun the tires earlier today on the outside of row 1. The very initial start of the race. He'll be on the outside of row 1 again this time. That's why I want to mention that. Just Allgaier will be on the inside of that row. Couple lap fresher tires in row 2 on back. Dean Thompson, Brennan Poole up in the top 5 now. Harrison Burton in row 3. Looks like they've added another lap of yellow. Might be some safety equipment on the racetrack yet. So with the extra lap of caution, we'll have 46 laps left when we get back to green, which is the length of stage 2, which went caution-free. And that last green flag run was actually the longest of the race. We went from 103 to go down to just less than 60 to go before the caution. 50 to 55 laps. Watch the 88 having problems with power. We'll see. But imagine he's not going to spin the tires in the restart again. And being a rookie, I still feel like he's accomplished enough of a race car driver to learn from an earlier mistake. Getting set up for this, though. Again, Allgaier inside row 1, Zilich. Row 2, then Dean Thompson, Brandon Jones, followed by Harrison Burton, Brennan Poole. For row 3, it's the top half dozen. 46 laps to go. Austin Dillon being held on pit road. Penalty for Dillon as they come to the restart. He's going to be a lap down. Not sure what happened there. Green flag back in the air at the front of the pack. Good restart for Allgaier. Good for Zilich, all things considered on the outside. Allgaier's clear into the first turn. Dean Thompson trying to go for second. And a couple lap fresher tires, and that might be a huge advantage for him How about Dean Thompson to the inside of Allgaier looking for the lead? Allgaier getting a little help from his teammate on the outside. A bump draft keeps him going in the right direction. Just Allgaier slides up the racetrack up off turn 4. Zilich in the wake of his dirty air also moving around a ton, and Thompson still underneath Zilich for second. Allgaier leads the first lap following the restart. Dean Thompson trying to take advantage with the track position gain. And the Sam Hunt Racing Toyota is up to second nearly as he almost makes contact with Zilich, but Zilich is up against the wall off turn 2. He got squeezed by the 26 who ran him up out of the line. Zilich's car seems to be okay for the most part. Harrison Burton going to get by Zilich for third. And off turn 4, Burton to the inside of the 26. Allgaier's getting away at the front of the field with this intense battle for second moving on. Zilich up through the middle lane now. But he's boxed in behind the 25 and the 26. It really looked like Zilich lifted it all off turn 2 where he had gotten up against the wall. He definitely got crowded middle of the corner by Dean Thompson, which caused that to happen. Sam Mayer slow in the middle of the racing line. He tries to get to pit road and almost gets collected by a car just behind him. Caution flag is out again with 43 laps to go.
Beatable right.
Wow, that was almost disaster twice.
Oh, caution of the day for Sam Mayer. Allgaier leads. Harrison Burton second, and the two drivers third and fourth not happy
We hear
with
you,
each
Zilich.
other. Zilich, Dean Thompson.
The other side of that is that Dean, has not spent a lot of time up front. Connor spent a lot of time up front. When that happens, you kind of even get more frustrated because you think, hey, I've been here all day.
Right. Where'd you come from?
One of Sam Mayer.
Right.
Looks like the right front went down on the entry. Yeah, and it's where did you come from? And
Wow.
why do you? Oh my goodness. Sammy Smith went around, and then this gets really close between Nick Lights and him.
Mayer was running 13.
Oh no.
Remember, he had gotten a free pass.
That doesn't get any easier to see, even though we know the outcome.
But this is after the yellow flag was in the air. When you see the Wheeling caution lights and then there's contact, you know someone is not happy. Here's 88 radio.
No, don't have anything to add.
Yeah, we would agree, Connor.
That checks.
It was one of those things, though, that the 26 was probably clear for just a second. It felt like he had what he needed, and he tried to get back away from it. It was just too late. Kim, do you have more on the 26 car?
Yeah, Dean came on the radio and said, I did not mean to race him like that. I just got a little bit tight.
So let me ask you this question, because, Dean Thompson having a great rookie season.
Yeah.
And in many situations, you would say over-delivering. But it's not often that he finds himself restarting inside a 50 to go mile-and-a-half track on road 2. He doesn't have experience in those situations. I'm not trying to justify anything that happened there, but this is all about learning as a rookie, right?
100%. And I mean, we all know Dean. He's not the malicious, like, going to try to wreck you. He was going, how's he going faster than me? I'm already wide open. Like, I got wide open earlier than I have all day long. But the ADH, just has had a super fast car all day. All these cars have that damage on the right side. And everybody, it's almost like
about 90% would be. It's just the friendly. I didn't.
This does nothing. Makes you feel just slightly better.
Yeah.
Like, so I want to know that I'm mad, but it really change anything.
What I do up here in the first few elements. Just, just a couple punches to the arm.
And Zilich is not a volatile guy. He's belonging. I don't know.
Right, commercial break on the CW here under caution yet again. Second time in stage 3, 6 time total in the race, and our 4th for incident. 2 yellows in stage 1, none in stage 2. The stage yellows at lap 90, lap 45, and then 2 of them here within the span of about a dozen laps apart from one another. We'll set up a restart with less than 40 laps to go in today's BetMGM 300 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Charlotte. And again, live commentary coverage continues right here on KRC. Burton were to win, that would be his second win of the year. Harrison Burton hasn't won this season. In a calendar year, if you're counting Daytona and the Summer Cup race last season. Not at the Xfinity Series level, though. Nor was it this year exactly. Yeah, Harrison Burton going to be on the front row, though. Definitely tell those couple lap fresher tires help for that last restart for the likes of Burton and Thompson to race Zilich. And even Justin Allgaier there initially, as well as they did. I don't know that they're going to be able to continue that. The later we go into the race, those couple lap fresher tires should even out. Especially they get through more and more heat cycles. They've been through one now.
This race, especially in the final stage, anytime a caution comes out in the midst of a cycle of green flag pit stops, you know some things can get out of balance, and they have here. In fact, when you look at the top 10, Harrison Burton, I mean, we have not talked about him today, but you run it long, if you're able to come down pit road, get your service under caution, you're in the game. Same for Dean Thompson. Brandon Jones was able to do that. Sheldon Creed kind of back in the game, benefiting from the caution coming out when it did.
Yeah, those guys, they played the race they had, right? It's worked out well for them. The people this really benefits, though, is Allgaier and Zilich, because the competition they've been racing for the lead of this race are 5 rows back. And if we don't get a caution, they're going to be the two they're going to battle for the win right here.
And now we get our golden moment brought to you by Golden Corral. I feel like multiple times today, Sammy Smith has had a golden moment. But watch this.
This is what he had a Brown moment right here. I'm telling you right now. That guy,
He wasn't going to say it, but you did, and I'm proud of you.
We
I will.
cut to Anthony Alfredo, right? He has a sponsor.
Yeah,
fair enough.
perfect one
Fair
for that.
enough.
He can clean it
Might
up.
need that.
Hey, you were talking about the situation, though, for Allgaier and Zilich, and I really thought Brandon Jones, with a couple laps fresher tires, track position, might be able to do something. But last restart, he was up there and unable to.
Him and Harrison Burton, before all this cycle happened, was sitting around 19th to 20th, and now it's back up at the front row. What a change in fortune for that 25 team here today. Even if they fall back 5, 6, 7, 8 positions, still it's in that game.
William Byron, by the way, on the lead lap back in 15th for the restart. 38 to go as we hit the green flag again.
Gets a good launch. Harrison Burton not so good on the outside of row 1, stacked up a few rows behind them. Connor Zilich was in line right behind the 25. He's going backwards. Sheldon Creed, after having a flat tire and being a lap down, caught the timely yellow. He's on the outside of Dean Thompson for second off of turn 2. The car's bottlenecking still as they work their way down the back straightaway. Lane changing going on. Drivers trying to fight to get to that top lane of the racetrack where the momentum will be at on corner exit. Thompson holds on for third for at least another corner. Brandon Jones in the 6th spot. Looked like he might have brushed the wall a bit off turn 4 on the exit. So we've seen several drivers do it throughout the course of the race today. Saw it in practice in the Cup Series earlier, too. A couple different times. I'm sure we'll see it over the 600 miles tomorrow at Charlotte also. Half a second lead for Justin Allgaier over Sheldon Creed. William Byron, after getting the wave around a couple cautions ago, is up to 13th place on this last restart. Remember, he does have about as quick of a car as Allgaier. He's just stuck back in traffic. Had a speeding penalty after winning stage 2. Jesse Love with a late slide through turns 1 and 2, trying to get up in front of the 19, but it was a little bit too late. Jones with the run up the high side, able to get back by him for 6th. Connor Zilich on the bottom lane through 3 and 4, looking to make a pass on Dean Thompson. He's all clear, clean. off of turn number 4. Pass again for third. So Zilich a little over a second and a half off the lead. Wouldn't think he's got anything for Allgaier. He's in the same equipment. You never know, though. Maybe gets his way past Creed for second, get another caution. He can actually time out and restart Wolonoff on the outside of Allgaier one of these go-rounds. Everybody still has a set of tires left for the most part, unless somebody had made an unscheduled pit stop like Sheldon Creed did. I know Creed's on his final set of tires in second. But a lot of these other teams still have one more set left. Chase Briscoe probably going to need another set. His right front's rubbing very much with the right front fender of his race car. Made some contact off turn 2 with Ryan Ellis. Ellis actually bounced off the wall, then bounced into Briscoe. It looked like Briscoe gave him a lot of room either. Tires rubbing down the straightaways, not as much in the corner when he has to turn the wheel. And damage on the right front for the 19. Brandon Jones, Nick Sanchez battle for 7. Sanchez looking to make the pass on the inside. Sanchez was up to 5th very early in the race. And he's got a shot to try to get himself back into the top 5 again. By the way, Sheldon Creed and Dean Thompson both ran their fastest laps of the race on this last restart, both at lap 164. Allgaier's fastest lap still at lap number 54. That last time by, Allgaier was the quickest on the track. He's only got a 7/10 of a second lead, though, over the 00. Sheldon Creed's finished second a bunch in his NASCAR Xfinity Series career. Hasn't gotten a win. Can he get it done today? Sanchez to the outside of Harrison Burton. Carson Kvapil, Brandon Jones in the picture. 4 cars under a blanket, all battling for about 5th place. Scratch that, 6th place. Jesse Love is up to 5th. Sanchez wins the battle. Burton going backwards. Now he's 3 wide middle. As he gets split by Kvapil and Jones. Kvapil and Jones side by side off turn 2. And now Jones clears Kvapil. Kvapil in line on the outside before diving back to the bottom into 3 and 4. Now Burton got against the wall getting into turn 3. He's going to have to be careful. I know he's going in the wrong direction, but he's still in the top 10. Don't want to cut a tire. 30 laps to go. Lead is stretched out for Allgaier to about 1.2 seconds. Jesse Love makes a pass on Dean Thompson for 4th in turns 1 and 2. Love is about 4 seconds off the race lead. And 2 seconds behind Zilich for 3rd. Sanchez has gained 8 positions since the restart to get to 6th. 9 spots gained for Carson Kvapil to get to 7th. And William Byron up 5 spots is now back in the top 10 to 10th. Ryan Sieg up 6 spots is just behind him in 11th. Austin Hill up to 13th, about a half a dozen spots gained. Drivers that took the wave around a couple cautions ago bailed out with a quick yellow. Kvapil a bit loose off turn 2. Brandon Jones might have an opportunity to strike and make that pass back. Depends on what kind of momentum he was able to carry off the exit of that last corner. Doesn't look like it was enough. Remains in the position he was running. Quickest car on the racetrack again that last lap, though, was Justin Allgaier, 31.567. 5.98 that last time by as they timed across the stripe. It's 3/10 quicker than Creed in second. And Byron running 32 O's, but in heavy traffic. Still back in 10. Thanks for that, Steve. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a good night. 22 cars on the lead lap. Blaine Perkins is the last of which Austin Dillon, after getting held a lap on that restart, is the first car lap down in 23rd. It's like Thompson battling for 5th right now with Nick Sanchez. Pretty tight. You can see that interval on our screen within about a 10th or 2. Sanchez looking to complete the pass, exit of the corner, slides up. Thompson into his back bumper and now looks to the inside for a crossover into 3. Quapple fastly approaching behind both race cars. Thompson not going to be able to complete the crossover on the 48. He's side by side with him on the front stretch, though. Can't side draft him enough. Sanchez holds on. 25 laps to go, so Nick Sanchez up to 6th. Oh, man, Sanchez sideways entering turn 1. Carson Quapple attacks and gets by both cars. Sanchez still sideways off turn 2. He's driving the wheels off that 48. Thompson may get back by him. Nope, not quite. Side by side again between the 26 and the 48. Keep racing like this, Brandon Jones is going to catch a pass both of them just like Quapple did for 5th. 48-26 still battle for 6th. Sanchez underneath the Thompson. Through 3 and 4 as these two just continue to cross each other over back and forth. Thompson wins the battle for the moment. Allgaier looking in his rearview mirror down the back straightaway, seeing the 0-0 of Creed get smaller and smaller as he pulls away. Done a masterful job on these late race restarts to this point, maintaining the lead, and has a quick car underneath him to have the pacing, even on the longer green flag runs, to do what he's doing. Oh, Quapple goes for a spin. Just took over 5th place. He passed both Thompson and Sanchez. That's a tough break for Quapple. It's going to drop him well out of the top 10. As he comes to pit road, there's some damage on the right side of his car. He definitely got against the wall in 3 and 4. Spin for Carson Quapple. And that will lead for not green flag pit stops, but pit stops under the caution late in the race as well. Quapple's coming to pit road. No, never mind. Well, he is. I thought he was going to try to turn it into the garage. Might have slid through the box a little too far. He's up on the high side. A little loose through the bumps. Didn't look like wall contact started the slide. Damage he has must have been from making contact with the wall a little earlier in the race. Car slipped out from underneath him and around goes Quapple. Again, he was running in the 5th place position. And that's only going to burn his teammate Justin Allgaier, who had the lead. Big caution for William Byron in 10th, so now he's got a chance to pit and get back on even tires as everybody else, or stay out and try to do what he can on old tires to fend everybody off. But it's going to be an awfully long time to be able to do that. We're probably going to restart with about 15 laps to go still. $20 to go this time by. Pit road should be open. Who will pit? Who will stay out? A lot of these teams have an extra set of tires left. Sheldon Creed's probably staying out because he's on his final set of stickers. If he does pit, he'll have to put scuffs on. I don't think that that's going to be great for him. Might as well stay out, I feel like. Take the lead. Yep, Creed stays out because... Oh, Allgaier stays out as well. Jesse Love, but Zilich and most of the field from 3rd on back is in.
Most of others making pit stops under caution. Just over 20 laps to go, Dylan.
Oh, boy.
Nick Sanchez will be the first one to peel off. He told Patrick Donahue, the crew chief, don't change anything. I don't want to be too tight on this final run. We'll just put their last set of sticker tires on and add fuel. Kim?
As you see the founder Zilich, they'll put fuel and sticker tires on it. He was reporting just a little bit tight condition. He's been battling that all day, so you see that chassis adjustment to try and free him up for this last run.
Your reaction?
Well, to the report on
If
I was Nick's crew chief, I would be like, yeah, no problem, but we're not changing a thing. And I'd be like, tighten it up right now. A little bit. Just give me a little.
This is going to be really, really interesting. William Byron among the drivers that made a pit stop there.
I don't think there's enough buffer, guys. Like he needed,
don't think so either.
Like 10 cars to stay out right here. And he's going to have about 4, 5.
Wow. Here's Allgaier radio.
Okay. Contact. Now, I relayed your message. Yeah, I know. I said it, but whatever, you know.
That's miscommunication. They started the day with communication issues.
Right. That could be
Radio?
something that played out right there because we didn't really hear a dispute like of between the driver and the crew chief.
So maybe he just never heard it.
Okay. Okay, now.
Well,
Hold on, okay.
5 cars stay out. You got Allgaier. We talked about Creed. Jesse Love, you saw. 27 of Jet Burt. And the 31 also stays on the racetrack, Blaine Perkins. Let's get more with his 17 radio, Justin Allgaier and his group.
I know this isn't what you wanted. If it doesn't work, I'll take the lead for it, but I feel like I got done this one.
All right. I like the optimism.
all right. Ball's in your hands, but
He's definitely had the best car since halfway through this race, and we heard them, say pit. But I just am curious if Justin heard just because of the radio issues that they had earlier in the race. And one thing I like here though is that no one beat anyone up, right? Like they're a team. They're going to win together. They're going to lose together.
Well, and I feel like winning the championship last year has just changed the attitude
It
and
has,
feel
you
for
said
this,
that.
entire group, right? I mean, everybody has just had a different approach. And you want to win. They're competitors, but when you have 2 wins in the bag, you're the overall leader. Sometimes in the big picture, it can soften the blow. And maybe I'm overselling that side of it, but so if you look, I mean, you see top 5 left of the bumper. All those are the drivers that stayed out. Mayer came down pit road, was the first off, but he only took 2 tires, and I'm not sure what they had left in their pit box.
36 is a lot of laps.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
a lot of laps.
it's a
to
big
have.
number.
Yeah.
But we also know that, clean air is a big deal. And,
Yeah.
and then you go to, who they'll be racing and who he's been racing
Yeah.
with. And some of those guys are going to have a lot of ground to make up here.
But you've got Brandon Jones and Nick Sanchez and Zilich, who are 7th, 8th, and 9th. Brand new 4 tires. We saw what Jeff Burton was able to do after 20 laps on the tires. In stage 1, he went from the back into to 5th.
Yeah.
In just less than 20 laps.
Here's the choose. The Allgaier Creed front row. Hey, don't write off Jesse Love now. I mean, and he feels like the Xfinity Series owes him one because he was able to finish the deal late at Rockingham, gets the penalties DQ'd. So, the penalty today, if he could overcome that and win, how special would it be for him?
See, Sanchez is going to be in the outside row, 4 or 5 rows back. I like being on the top if I have tires because it gives you options. If they go to the top, you go to the middle. If they're in the middle, you can go to the top. So I like the position Sanchez is in, having the best tires, and I think probably restarting in the best line if that outside can get going. Because we've seen the outside struggle on sticker tires to get going. This will be a huge challenge for Sheldon Creed and Jesse Love in the outside to get that momentum going. I'd want a little bit of a faster restart if I was them.
Yeah, if it gets stacked up like we've seen a couple times, that can really hurt the 48 because he's have to wait till after the line to pop out, go to the 3rd groove, which we saw Jesse Love get caught out for.
And I hope they remind him of that. Like
Yeah.
patient, right? If I'm the spotter, crew chief, listen, somebody's already got in trouble earlier today. Stay in line so they can start.
Usually your spotter will sort of.
Yeah, we have set ourselves up for a wild one down the home stretch here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for this NASCAR Xfinity Series race. Justin Allgaier going to have to hold him off for 17 laps on about 36 lap old tires. Not all under green, but darn near 30 of them. We'll be on the inside of row 1. Control car, green flag back in the air. Good launch for Allgaier. Not so good on the outside of row 1 for Sheldon Creed, though. A lot of cars 3 and 4 wide, and Blaine Perkins gets turned in front of some of the pack of cars behind. A lot of damage to Harrison Burton's 25 car. He's caught up. And that caution's going to bail Allgaier out because obviously it came in the first half of the first lap following the restart. So a lot of those drivers on fresh tires were not able to get through yet. 4 laps to be ran under yellow yet again.
And the tires clear.
with the caution there. That sort of gave him a ton of track position, was in a good position there, track position wise. Lane Perkins, similar situation.
Well, and it's just a product of people being on all different strategies on this restart. We knew that Sanchez was going to try to get to the outside. And there was some room up there. It actually looked right here. He's going to get to the outside, the 31. They go through a little dog leg. Nick actually kind of went to the left, maybe trying to.
Well, there's Brendan Jones moving up to the middle as well that caught Blaine Perkins, shoved him into Nick Sanchez into the 2. So if you look there, there's a move by Brendan Jones. And that sort of sets off the domino effect of cars bumping into each other.
Blaine was in just a terrible, not his own fault, just in a terrible position with the 20 car trying to get to the middle. And then the 48s on that right rear, and gosh, just sent him around right here.
Saw some damage rear bumper Ryan Sieg, who was just about out in front of him. You know, we got 22 on the lead lap. Jeff Burton up to second. Gosh. The only drivers that come here are those that got a little bit of damage in the dust up. Actually, Jesse Love there. There you see the bumper and the damage I talked about for Ryan Sieg.
Yeah, NASCAR would have made them come in anyway and
Yep.
fix this situation.
We'll go to break. There'll be just over 10 laps to go when we go green again here in Charlotte. Allgaier leading. Can he hang on? Here's the reason for the yellow flag.
Justin Allgaier and Jeb Burton, the top 2 now. First of those on 4 fresh Goodyears would be Sam Mayer in 4th. He was inside of row 3 on the restart. Only really got by 1 car with the quick caution. So that bails Justin Allgaier out for at least a little bit more time. And now he's going to have to hold on for maybe about 10 to 12 laps on the next restart instead of 17. He's had the fastest car throughout the second half of the race, but he's got old tires compared to those that will be charging hard behind him. Connor Zilic, also on fresh tires, could be in the mix for the win. That'd be a great redemption arc following missing the last race at Texas because of a back injury following a Talladega crash. That would definitely be a great way to round things out here. Allgaier, Burton, Mayer, Creed. Top 4. Zilic, Jones. 5th, 6th, Sanchez, Sammy Smith, 7th, 8th. Don't forget about William Byron in 9th. He'll have fresher tires. Brennan Poole, 10th. Christian Eckes and Dean Thompson, 11th, 12th. And Thompson was up in the top 3 what felt like not that long ago. Must have had a slow pit stop when they all came down into the pits because he was in 5th, I think, when that second to last caution came out leading into the pit stop. So not quite quick for the 26 pit crew.
To do before the afternoon is over at Charlotte Motor Speedway. But a reminder, the fun continues tonight at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. It's AVP Beach.
Take another break while we await this next restart.
From Palm Beach. We'll see you at 8 o'clock Eastern right here on CW. I love the diving in the sand, you know?
Some of these drivers probably felt like a volleyball in that whole wreck we had there.
They felt like they got spiked on, right? I mean, right between the eyes. 11 cars were involved in that accident. And I don't know if this long caution helps or hurts.
I think it helps.
I think it helps.
Yeah, I think
Every
it
time
helps
you get that way.
because he's not going to pit again.
No, but then I also think about some of the guys that were involved in the crash for the buffer that he had to some of those that are on tires, you know? Allgaier goes inside. It'll be 12 to go. We hit the green.
So Zilic took the inside as well, which I
I agree
A
with
little surprised by that, but the inside has been able to get that better launch. So if you can get down to turn one and maybe start working the middle, might be able to get himself in the right positions for it.
I've got to agree with it too. Jeff Burton, who really hasn't restarted up front all day. He's on older tires.
That's
You know,
going to
the
play a
outside-
big factor into the rest of these guys' decision.
You know, he is on older tires, but I mean, same or maybe just a touch better even than what Allgaier is, right? I mean, same cycle. But hey, man, this is when you get to this point in the race, and I feel like we could have another caution because we know what restarts are like in this situation, especially as Jamie said earlier, when everyone's out of balance on the tires. But I'll tell you what, Jeff Burton, and we talk about being 0-1, we know how it didn't go his way at Talladega. Maybe today is his day. And if so, man, what an afternoon, what a celebration it would become for Jordan Anderson racing.
That'd be quite a shock.
Major upset in the BetMGM 300.
Oh,
Swedish money.
long shot.
All right, 12 to go. Allgaier, Burton front row. The second row, teammates Mayer and Creed. Watch Zilich inside lane, Sanchez outside lane, row 3.
12 laps to go in the restart. Green flag back in the air. Push from behind. Allgaier gets from Sam Mayer. Couple cars up on the outside, throwing some blocks a little further back. Allgaier looks to be clear in the center of 1 and 2. Connor Zilich smoking. Oh, got trouble at the very back of the field and another caution. And another yellow that's going to bail out the 7 of Justin Allgaier. 2 yellows in the first half of a lap following a restart. And there has been no time for drivers on fresh tires to get back by drivers on old tires. It's Catherine Legg, and there was another car that was involved in the incident. Quite a bit of damage to Legg's car. Looks like she might have hit head on with the outside wall. Chris Wright in the 5 also to pit road with damage. Second incident that he has been involved in today. Brought out the very first caution of the race all the way back at lap 18. Waiting to see a replay of exactly what happened, but this was at the back of the pack. I don't think either of these drivers were on the lead lap. Might have been more involved as well. J.J. Yaley, perhaps. Oh, yeah, that was on Yaley. I don't know what he was doing there. J.J. Yaley just kind of drifted up into Catherine Legg and took them both out. Got to the second kink on the front stretch past the start-finish line. And Legg ended up hitting the inside retaining wall head on. Couldn't slide up into the outside wall. Went down through the grass. Caught the inside wall, which is where that nose damage came from. I don't even know what happened there. It shocks me that something like that could happen getting up to speed, especially with a veteran driver like J.J. Yaley, who has been a part of the sport for 20 years. Connor Zilich had a tie rub on the left rear right as they were getting to the restart. For the most part, maintains his position. He's in 6th right now. And again, it should be Justin Allgaier and Jeff Burton on the front row once more.
Decision earlier for him to stay out. What was going through your mind when you saw the swerve back on the racing surface?
Well, obviously not the happiest. I think I probably gave him some wrong information where I thought there was going to be some less laps. And when he looked in his mirror and seen the 00 staying out, I think he felt like a lot of other guys were going to stay out. So not completely on him. I'll take some of the blame on that, but I think it's going to work out hopefully here. These cautions are definitely helping us cycle back to the, cycle back even to the fresher tires. So hopefully we can hang on.
What are you telling your driver at this point?
He's the best.
There you have it. He's the best. We'll see what Allgaier can do here in these final laps.
I just remember 2 years ago,
Jim Pullman, crew chief of Justin Allgaier. And the Miscommunication from crew chief to driver, which led to Allgaier staying out of the pits, but he is still the leader. And if they get one to go this time by, which it looks like, nope, they did not. Okay, so that's good for Allgaier. That's an extra lap of caution. So now we're looking at 7 laps to go in the restart. We haven't even had a full green flag lap since the pit stops took place. He's got about 30 lap older tires than everybody else. Not everybody else behind him. He's got a couple more bumper cars still. Jeb Burton, Sheldon Creed. Nick Sanchez, Sam Mayer in 4th and 5th place right now would be the first of those on 4 fresh Goodyears. Ooh. Jeb Burton got a piece of the wall on the outside. It looked like the caution was out off turn 2, and Sanchez in the 48 got into the back of him. As they were exiting the corner, didn't check up in time following the yellow. You wonder how much damage is on the right side of Burton's Chevrolet. Radio communications there for Jeb Burton. Well, they go into overtime. The rate we're going at right now, it seems like it might be that way. We'll see if they get one to go again. Allgaier's hoping that they don't. More laps under caution, the better for Allgaier until we get to 2 laps to go. If he still has the lead. The moment if we get a caution and he is the leader, while a couple drivers, well, just really one driver to the outside or inside of him on a restart with the fresher 30 lap tires, I think that's when he's going to end up finally losing the lead, but he's still going to have a couple of buffer cars around him. Unless Jeb Burton comes to pit road before we get back to racing. By the way, I think they did add another lap under caution. Yep. So now we're looking at 6 laps to go in the restart. Which means 6 laps were spent under this caution. More likely, and Justin Allgaier might be able to hold on. Two wins this season for Allgaier. They came on 1.5-mile tracks as well, Las Vegas and Homestead. So all 3 of his wins this year, if he is able to win today, would be on 1.5-mile tracks. And he has won at Charlotte in the Xfinity Series before. Obviously had a great car at Texas, got taken out. Incident with Chris Wright. Xfinity Series was off at Kansas last week. Or a couple weeks ago, would have been the last Cup race. Now they'll get to the choose. So 1 to go this time by. So we will have exactly 6 laps left on the restart. Allgaier Burton, front row again. No surprise that Allgaier takes the inside of row 1. Inside line has been the preferred line on the front row for every restart in the Xfinity race. For the most part in the truck race, that was the case yesterday. There was 1 or 2 restarts throughout the course of the race where Corey Heim took the top, but it was Corey Heim, and he was basically able to get the lead every time anyway. Late cautions definitely lengthening the race out just a bit, just over 2.5 hours from the drop of the green flag to where we're at right now. Setting up for a late restart. Reed is on the inside of row 2 behind Allgaier. The first driver of 4 fresh tires is Nick Sanchez, who's outside of row 2. The car in front of him is Jeb Burton, who has that little bit of damage to the right side of his car, so we'll have to wait and see if he maybe has a potential tire rub. You would hope not. The longer the buffer cars can stay ahead of those on 4 fresh tires, the better for Justin Allgaier. He's had the fastest car throughout the second half of the race today, bar none. But now he is at a disadvantage. The only advantage is the fact he's leading. Green flag in the air. Sheldon Creed giving him a great push on the front stretch as they head for turn 1. Zilic to the inside, looking 3 wide for second place. Connor Zilic has smoking left front, tire rub around the left rear, not the left front. Nick Sanchez on the outside, able to get to Connor Zilic's door, and as they race for turn 3, the battle for second continues. Zilic is going to try to ride it out, even with the left rear smoking a bit. You got to hope that that tire lasts to the finish. William Byron up to the inside of Nick Sanchez for third as well, who dominated and actually won the first. Zilic going for the lead, bottom of the racetrack, sliding around. Gets to the inside of Justin Allgaier. Allgaier with a run off the high side, trying to hang on, and the caution's out again further back. Brandon Jones and a couple other cars collected. I believe Justin Allgaier is going to be the leader at the time of the yellow. Kyle Sieg has crashed. Can't tell who else is involved in there. Brandon Jones, definitely quite a bit of damage. He's been in the top 10 most of the day. Jeb Burton fell all the way to 10th. So with 4 laps to go, the caution flag is out again. And yes, to answer your question there, Bam, we will be headed to overtime. Castle Bob, welcome to the stream. Sid for Brains, thanks for tuning in. First I saw you in the chat so far. Billy Kramer. I think Byron's going to win this thing. Great restart to go from, 8th to 3rd in 2 laps for William Byron. Catherine Legg looks to be involved again. Still under caution, quite a few were involved in this crash. Hard to tell exactly how many. It started when Brandon Jones got up against the wall at turns 3 and 4. With a lot of the pack behind him running 3 wide, there was just nowhere to go. He's trying to keep his car pinned to the outside as long as he could. Then into the very next corner, he might have had a tire going down following the contact with the wall the corner before that. Leland Honeyman in the outside lane right behind Brandon Jones had nowhere to go. Gets into the back of him. Kyle Sieg also collected. Sieg gets hooked back upwards across the track on the back straightaway, and I think that's where Catherine Legg got involved again. Very big hit for Sieg backing it into the inside wall. Going back down the racetrack after getting hit up high. Frank Emmerling, welcome to the stream. Appreciate the good comment there. Got over 100 people in the chat watching. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. We're on the road to 7,000. We have hit our like goal of 50 likes for the stream as well. We're up to 51 in the late going.
William Byron behind the wheel.
Byron's
you guys
crew
have
chief.
fresher tires than the leader, but these tire cycles, at this point, who has the advantage?
Yeah, I mean, I'll take William every time. I know the 7's been the 3 of us have really been the 3 best cars all day, so it's cool to see it end up after everything that happened. The 3 of us to be back up front here at the end.
Williams never won here at his home track. What would it mean to finally get him that win?
Yeah, it'd be huge. I mean, to be at our home track, to have Hendrick 2 miles away, HendrickCars.com, it's a huge weekend for them, so it'd be really big to win this one, yeah.
William Byron in the catbird seat, sitting 3rd for this restart.
Hometown hero, William Byron, trying to get it done here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And I said this earlier, but think about all the junior motorsports accomplishments there in the top 3. William obviously driving today for HMS, but won a championship for JRM back in 2017. Connor Zilic, such a great young talent, has already won twice in those cars, including earlier this season. By the way, this would be his first win on an oval if he could get it done. You think about what that would mean for him because of how he's been labeled in such a good road racer as we know. And then obviously Justin Allgaier, who's just so special, the reigning champ, and has been the consummate professional for junior motorsports and everything they represent.
The story of Zilic being able to win after what happened and having to sit out Texas, Larson winning in his car to be able to come back win the first week out, your first oval win. It's awesome. Even if he doesn't win, he has had an incredible day. Let's hear what he had to say.
Connor, here's the deal. You'll have to get going. The 17 is on tires as well. So if you get clear off it, if you got to get going in the restart zone, is your only shot here, I think. Yeah. Or.
All the confidence. I got this, boys.
You know, for 18 years old, he never seems to blink.
If the 88 can get through the restart zone, as we heard his crew chief saying right there, he's most likely going to win this because if they get to turns 1 and 2, he's going to have more grip. However, if he can't, and William Byron is behind, I like the position he's in because then he's going to be the first position off of turn 2.
So let's go back to the last time that Zilich was driving this 88. You referenced it, Jamie. Final lap.
There's a chance that Byron ends up taking behind Connor Zilich on the restart to fire off better than the 7 of Allgaier, who is more than likely going to take the inside of row 1 again. Every time they show the replay of the Zilich Talladega crash, I feel like it gets more and more violent every time. CW, Lisa Thompson, excuse me. CW is where you can watch the Xfinity Series race. Every Xfinity race is on the CW this year. And every year from now through 2031. All on the current NASCAR TV contract. The new one that just started here this season has not led since winning stage 2. Got a tire rolling across the racetrack. I don't know who that came off of. Is that Chris Wright's car? Somebody just spun on the back straightaway. A tire came off.
This will slow our progress.
As Daniel
he
died.
obviously had to have just left the pit road right there.
We're still going to do the choose here, evidently. Yep, there they go.
We are not going racing.
No, we are not.
It's going to take a little while to get Daniel off the track.
By the way, this is going to be, 13th race. This is going to be our 7th overtime finish in 2025.
Wow. It kind of feels like it.
Yeah. The other thing with Connor Zilich on the front row is who he has right behind him. Sanchez is going to be really aggressive, so he's on the inside and just getting the best restart he can.
Let's get to those overtime rules. And because we've done it so much this year, everyone
read this, dude.
should have it memorized, but here it is. 2-lap shootout. If the caution comes out before the leader takes the white flag, we reset and do it again. But once the leader takes the white flag, next flag ends the race, whether it be the caution or the checkers. And of course, as we found out a couple of times this year as well, once you take that white flag, not only does the next flag end the race, but if you get a caution, it's the leader at the time of caution that determines who wins the event.
Boy, riding around under caution, your wheel falls off.
There went. Nice playing with you guys today.
I hate it for Daniel Dye, who had been so consistent this year as a rookie driver and entered this race as the first driver below the playoff cut line.
The way he said that on the radio makes me think they probably had an issue that was going wrong. Maybe it's a hub going bad, something like that, a major vibration that they had, maybe knowing that there was only a couple lugs on there. Because he was not surprised.
I'm glad that happened at 40 miles an hour and not 140 miles an hour.
It's always your fear. Nick Sanchez has been aggressive on his restarts. This is the last one. Trying to push the 27 on those older tires in front of him. He wanted to go to the outside. It wasn't there. And then makes a hole here between Sheldon and Jeff Burton. He's been aggressive. It's been paying off. Wow.
One win in that race team's history came for Tyler Reddick on 1.5 miles, Texas Motor Speedway.
It's such an interesting position for him to be in too, because if you go back to Texas, he ended up wrecking, kind of going for the win. And we talked about what a sleepless night that is as a driver. Like, if I could just have those points back. It's kind of in the same position, mentally as he I just want to win, I don't care about the rest of it? Or is it, I got to make sure that I don't do the same thing that happened at Texas?
That sounds really good today.
Sounds reasonable.
Right?
Yeah.
But then you get to September and you miss the playoffs by 10 points, and you're like, what was I doing in Texas and Charlotte? When if I just ride and hold my position, I'd be in. So great stories in the top 10. Talked about the top 4. Dean Thompson in the top 5. Could get a career best here today. Sheldon Creed with a wonderful comeback. Josh Williams is up there in the top 10.
Wow.
Sammy Smith has dealt with a lot. Same with Christian Eckes and Jeb Burton, all those drivers in the top 10 here. Saw that tire come off for Daniel Dye. All right, we're ready to do it here. First attempt at overtime.
Justin Allgaier needs the restart of the race at this point, which he's done each and every time. And he needs to hope that that outside lane has something go amiss and possibly can hold those cars up. So if he can get to where he just has enough clean air, maybe hold them off this lap. But you saw the speed they had on the last restart with those newer tires. It's going to be incredibly tough.
Yeah, and the one thing that's going to be different on this restart than we've had in any of these others at the end, on the outside, 88 and 100, so it's better tires on it. So I know the outside lane.
So Justin Allgaier has actually led the most laps in the race today. He's currently at 99 as we will go into overtime for the 7th time in 13 races for the Xfinity Series this season. Over half the races finishing under a 2-lap green-white checker situation. Justin Allgaier on the inside of row 1 is on old tires. Pretty much everybody else around him, 4 fresh Goodyears. We'll see how it's going to work out. Connor Zilch will be on the outside of row 1. Nick Sanchez on the outside of row 2 behind Zillich. Byron is going to be locked in behind Allgaier, who has the older tires, and there's about a 30-lap green flag difference between Allgaier's tires and everybody else around him up at the front of the pack. Can he hold on? He's held on up until this point, but now he has no buffer cars to play with. Green flag is in the air. 2 laps to win it at Charlotte. Byron pushes the back of the 7, trying to get him going in the right direction. Connor Zillich trying to win on his first oval in the Xfinity Series, looking to the outside. Zillich gets sent by Nick Sanchez in the 48 car as he just had his rear wheel spinning forever. Speaking of spinning, the 39 of Ryan Sieg makes a big save down to the inside of the track. He was fishtailing all the way down the back straightaway. Allgaier down on the bottom of the racetrack. The 17 of Byron to the outside, looking for the lead. Off turn 4, they make contact. The 7 sideways, he hangs on to it, but Byron takes through to the lead. Zillich to the outside for second on his teammate as William Byron tries to drive away. Left rear tire smoke is still there for Zillich as he tries to hold on for second place. He's all clear of Allgaier. Byron's lead over Zillich is a little less than a half a second. Sanchez going for third into 3 and 4 to the inside of the 7. Checkered flag will be waving William Byron. On the stat sheet, wins both stages, wins the race, but had to come back from a penalty as the race is actually ending under yellow. Looks like there was an incident off of turn 4 further back in the pack, but the caution flag is out, race is over, and William Byron is the race winner. Allgaier squeezed him. I don't know whose car that is that's destroyed on the front stretch. Brennan Poole. It's like a massive hit for him. Poole was actually sitting in turns 3 and 4. There's a car on fire down towards Pit Road that has just been demolished. I would assume made contact with the 44. That would be Jeb Burton and the 27 also collected. So a 2-car incident in turn 4 brings out the yellow right before the leaders were about to cross the start-finish line, but no major changes in position in those top 5-6 spots. They will remain the same. Pass for the win off turn 4, coming to the white flag for William Byron. He got to the outside of Allgaier. Allgaier squeezed him, made a little contact, and Byron slips on by, barely kept it off the outside wall, and now he's burning it down on the front stretch. Second time the 17 car has gone into victory lane in the Xfinity Series this season. Kyle Larson won with that car earlier this year at Bristol. Larson's second win was in the 88 that Connor Zillich obviously is driving here this weekend. Now, most weeks, Larson filled in for him. Back-to-back wins for a Hendrick driver from the Cup Series, but William Byron winning here today for the Xfinity Series. Can't believe I didn't take him to win. It looked like he was going to be well on his way to doing so and had to come back in that final stage. He only led 2 laps in stage 3, despite the fact that he led 71 laps total in the race. Again, he won stages 1 and 2, gets the race win. Congratulations to William Byron. We'll go through the full field finishing order here in a little bit. Make sure we get our interview from our race winner first.
And if our top 10 become official, Ryan Ellis would have his first ever.
You got it's awesome. You gotta love it. And he's talked to us about how much he wants that so badly.
Here's Dylan.
As the crew comes in to celebrate, 5th career Xfinity Series win for William Byron, and finally gets one at his home racetrack here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Had the tire advantage there at the end, but this race car was on rails all day. Well, when you had that penalty and had to go all the way to the back, how confident were you that you were going to be able to drive this thing back to the front and ultimately end up here at the end of the day?
I was somewhat confident. I felt like if we got some yellows, it would be good, but man, it didn't work out the way we thought it did. So just had a lot of green flag running and couldn't really get back to the front. But man, feels awesome to win. It's my home track. God, it feels really good. Restart merchant there at the end. So it's fun to be back in victory lane. I feel like I haven't won in a while. So just appreciate all these guys and HendrickCars.com, Mr. Hendrick, Brian Johnson, Daryl Jackson, Mrs. Hendrick, and just it was a lot of fun.
You did have a tire advantage on Allgaier there at the end, but not necessarily over the other guys around you. But how did you use those restarts and kind of size everybody up there on the multiple attempts to ultimately get what you needed?
Yeah, I just needed, I feel like, to get to the front couple rows, I guess. And I wasn't able to get there to the last one. I was able to, Justin got a good restart. I was able to push him and get clear of the 88 and then had some clean air on the nose. So, yeah, just kind of a crazy end of the race. Appreciate all the fans coming out. It was a fun race for me.
Congratulations. William Byron gets the Charlotte race weekend started off right with a win in the Xfinity Series.
Well, HendrickCars.com Chevy goes to victory lane this weekend, but it's not Kyle Larson, at least to this point. William Byron in the 17 going to get it done in the NASCAR Xfinity Series race. Before we go through the finishing order here, taking a look at what happened, bringing out that last caution. Big hit for Brendan Poole into the outside wall in turns 3 and 4. His car is absolutely destroyed. A head-on hit into the wall after contact down the back straightaway in a 3-wide battle for position with Jeb Burton. Burton restarted 10th, so that might have been around where they were battling. Just Allgaier on standby here for an interview, it looks like, after finishing in the 4th place position. Unless they're going to commercial first. And it looks like they are going to commercial first. Okay, so we'll go through the finishing order then while we're waiting on that. William Byron with the race win, 0.3 of a second margin of victory in this one for Byron. Again, he wins stage 1, stage 2, and wins the race. Connor Zilic finishes in second after starting on the front row. And in the 3rd spot, Nick Sanchez, career best in the NASCAR Xfinity Series with the 3rd place run at Charlotte. Justin Allgaier ended up finishing in 4th. He led 99 laps here today out of the just over 200 as we went past the scheduled distance with the Robs. A great day, finishes 6th. Josh Williams performs well. War of attrition down the stretch, stayed alive, finished 7th after starting 27th. 3rd place for Austin Hill. Ryan Ellis with a great run. Started 30th, finishes 9th. Christian Eckes rounds out the top 10. Then Sheldon Creed in 11th, Jesse Love 12th, Sam Mayer 13th, Austin Dillon 14th, and Ryan Sieg 15th. Jeremy Clements in 16th, William Sawalek 17th, Carson Quapple 18th, Chris Wright 19th. I don't know how Chris Wright finished 19th. He was involved in a couple incidences today. Brandon Jones ends up finishing in 20th. Jeb Burton 21st, Harrison Burton 22nd, Brendan Poole 23rd. I would assume was last on the lead lap, getting caught up in that crash, did not make it to the checkered flag. Chase Briscoe lap down in 24th. He had to pit for an unscheduled stop on the final longer green flag run. He had a cut right front tire after damage on a restart. Lane Perkins ends up finishing 25th. Anthony Alfredo, 26th. Garrett Smithley, 27th. Nick Lights, 28th. 29th for J.J. Yaley, C.J. McLaughlin, and 30th. Taylor Gray quietly finishes 31st today. Not sure exactly what happened. I would assume he was caught up in one of the restart cautions there late. He was running at the end. He started on the pole, scored quite a few stage points, but unfortunately, not a great finish for him. Daniel Dye had his tire come up under that last overtime caution, so he ends up finishing 32nd with a DNF. Leland Honeyman 33rd, Kyle Seek 34th, Catherine Lake 35th, Brad Perez 36th, Matt DiBenedetto 37th, and Parker Retzlaff, rounds out a 38-car field to finish this race off. So 7 DNFs total, 8 DNFs. Jeb Burton did cross the start-finish line as he was crashing across it. Again, 71 laps led for our race winner. Justin Allgaier does get the Xfinity Fastest Lap Award of 30.69. And again, a fourth place finish for him. He led 103 laps. He led a few more under the caution there. So 103 laps led for Allgaier, but a fourth place finish on staying out of the pits when everybody else came to pit road during the caution with a little bit more than 20 laps to go. He had restart after restart. He was able to hold on until the final one in overtime. So that's going to wrap up today's stream. Red Zone Prides, welcome. Thanks for tuning in as well. Many others that I might not have shouted out throughout the course. And I saw Ronnie Packman in the chat there late. Thanks for everybody who tuned in throughout the course of today's live commentary stream or streams. If you tuned in from the practice qualifying run earlier today for the Coke 600, we're going to be live 2 times again tomorrow, as we will have the Indianapolis 500 and Coca-Cola 600 coverage right here on the channel. Our Indy 500 coverage will begin at 12:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow afternoon, and our pre-race show coverage leading up to the NASCAR Cup race will be at 5:30 p.m. Eastern for the Coke 600. So 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Those streams are already ready to go. So hit the bell notification button so you don't miss those streams. You can also check the community tab for the start times if you do forget as well. I will see you guys tomorrow afternoon. We got a big day ahead of us, 1,100 miles of action, long day of a couple of days. We had ARCA trucks yesterday. We had Xfinity Cup practice qualifying today, and now the main event tomorrow, the Indy 500, Coke 600. Can't wait to bring you guys all the coverage here on the channel. See you. Have a good rest of your Saturday night, and I will see you back better than ever again tomorrow afternoon.